discharge take?
That's another great question.
From the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios, high atop Baltimore Street, in a maximum security facility complete with central air, it's AG Today.
Hello, folks. It's Patrick Gorman.
Hi, this is Jake Busey.
Hi, this is Bruce Boxleitner.
This is Tom Vera from A Gettysburg Christmas.
Hi, this is Bo Brinkman.
And you're listening to Addressing Gettysburg. I'm glad you're listening. Thank you.
There's a devil to pay.
Did you say Ed Lincoln?
Good night, everybody.
Bonfire.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg Today.
I love this podcast.
Oh, exactly.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, man.
Wow. I know what it's going to be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Addressing Gettysburg Today. It is Thursday, September 7th, and ladies and gentlemen, she's back. Ronnie Ronstadt is back.
The interrogation light in my face.
Sorry about that, Ronnie.
That's right.
But the people need to see you.
Yeah.
They can't believe, they haven't seen you in so long, they can't believe that you're back.
Right. And I got all gussied up for them. You're welcome.
I know.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
I'm trying to find or figure out a way to sabotage the roundtable because they take you away from me too much.
Well, last week wasn't the round table. Last week was a client who had a meltdown. And
Oh, well,
had
right.
a-
That was
like an emergency.
right. You were going to be
Yeah.
here last
Yeah.
week. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That
The
worked
week
out.
before that was the round table.
Yeah. What? How did that
no,
melt?
wait, I'm sorry. I have those slipped. You're right. Last week was the round table with Carol Reardon. The week before that was an emergency with a kid. That's right.
No, I think you were right the first time.
Because Carol Reardon was the last week, was the last Thursday of the month, and that was at Spangler Farm. That was definitely last Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
bumped into her on the battlefield yesterday. I was doing my morning drive video,
Yeah.
and I'm there on what is that, de Trobriand Avenue, I think, and I was like, oh, there's Carol Reardon. So I stopped the car, backed up, and said hi to her. She's into bird watching.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I
I
didn't
was
know
going to
that.
ask, you were just like out there by yourself?
She's just out there, well, I think she goes for a walk every day, and then, she was saying that she likes bird watching and stuff, and how as much as she doesn't like the lake in the Valley of Death, she does like the opportunities for bird watching.
Yeah.
There is a lot of wildlife down there that you don't normally see.
Yeah.
It is kind of nice for that part. I'm still Team Mozart, though. Which, by the way, if we were to go by T-shirt sales, it's a statistical tie.
That's wild.
Just, I mean, like everything else, right? Like the presidential elections, it's like 49.1% to whatever the hell the other would be. And oh wait, let me see. How you doing in there, Colby?
You know, hanging.
I'm sorry, I didn't have your mic open.
Oh, no worries, man.
How are you today?
Doing good. I just finished quite a few days of long hours in the studio, so today was a much-needed reprieve from all of that.
You were saying that you recorded 7 hours with our buddy Brad Gottfried about the Antietam campaign.
I did, and listen, that part was the fun
Don't tell
part.
me to listen.
You better go listen.
Don't you tell me what to do.
That part was great. You know, if I could do that, 15 hours a day, I probably wouldn't be that tired right now. But,
yeah.
But it's the editing and then waiting for it to export and then upload into Patreon and YouTube and everything.
I know. I'm telling you, people don't get it.
So
it's time consuming.
Listen, to get this first episode, because we're doing a 3-part series on the Maryland campaign this month, and then the first episode of next month over on our show. And to get just the episode that came out on Wednesday this week uploaded, I sat in the studio waiting for it to actually upload onto YouTube and Patreon for like 5 hours.
Really?
It took forever. I don't know why it was so slow this time. I mean, I think it's because it's like a 2 hour and 11 minute episode.
Oh yeah, and it's high def.
And yeah. So, but this time it took forever, man. But
You can literally spend an entire workday, 8 hours, waiting for a video to upload.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you have to kind of monitor it, because if you have an interruption with your internet connection or something like that, it could throw the whole thing off, and then you have to restart it.
Over.
So you can't. It's not like you can just set it and forget it and go do other. I mean, you could do other things, but you can't really leave.
Right, and you don't want to do too much on your computer, because it just slows it down more.
Yes.
If you start stressing out the
The system, taxing the system.
Yeah.
That's why it's always best to have 2 computers, if you can.
Yeah.
Not everybody can. Ronnie, you were telling me that you had an air conditioning problem.
Oh, we're currently ongoing. So yesterday, I was actually out of the house. Mom texted, "Hey, it's really hot in here, but the air is blowing." So I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, we have it set at 71, or 72, I guess, and it says that it was 80. So I'm like, well, I don't know how it could have been bumped. Like, I mean, I said, as long as the fan's blowing, right? Like, there's air coming out of the floorboards or what, the vents. Yeah, there's air. So that's really weird. I said, well, we're going to have to call in the morning, if nothing gets better. So, of course, nothing got better, and it actually got worse. When I left the house today to come to the studio, the reason why I don't have dry hair or anything like that is because it's 85 degrees in our house.
Yikes.
Yeah.
How are you going to sleep?
We haven't. Like, last night was horrible. And I tried to take a little bit of a nap today, like in the middle of the day, like with 2 different fans on me on the couch. I was like, it's just, and our poor little Sally, the older little girl dog, she's a little overweight. She's like her mama, she's a little junkie monkey. And she was just, she's suffering. We feel so bad for her. Mead's just like, whatever. He's just playful little dope. He just runs around and he's fine. But yeah, Mom's handling it pretty well. I'm kind of surprised. But she's always cold. So this is like somewhat heaven for her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm like, literally, I was telling you, I got out of the shower and like no sooner does I step out of the shower, I already have like sweat beads on me. It was just
awful,
horrible.
I know. I have to take cold showers.
Yeah.
And actually in the summertime it's kind of refreshing, but in the winter you can't, because that cold water is colder, obviously, in the winter.
Yeah.
It's
even
not.
in the summer, I mean, presumably air conditioning is working, so the house is not as hot as the outside is. So like once you come inside, kind of like calm down, cool off a little bit. Like if you're doing yard work or whatever, I still like at least a warm shower. Right?
Yes.
But no. Today I was like, no. This is I can honestly think. Voluntarily, this might be my first cold shower I've ever taken. I've been to some hotels where there might not have been, particularly warm water or whatever. But if I had like my own power over the situation, this is the first time I've conscientiously pretty much put only cold water on. And you're right, it felt fantastic for the time I was in there. But as soon as I got out, I mean, 85 degrees is like, and we bought this house and none of the windows came with screens, and we've never actually invested in putting screens in the windows.
What is that about?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But now kind of kicking ourselves, because it's like when I was driving over here, it said it was like 75, which is obviously less than 85. So if we could have the windows open, it would help a little bit. But well,
you could get little inserts that you could open the window a few inches, and then you put the insert in there, and it stretches out to the size of your window.
We'll have to. Well, I mean, they're supposed to come. So luckily, our AC folks. They're supposedly coming between 8 and 8:30 tomorrow. So hopefully I'll already be out of the house. I was talking to Cindy. I'm like, it's one thing to put on like a baggy t-shirt and shorts and come in here with a ball cap.
Yeah.
I have court tomorrow. So
it's
putting
not
on
gonna
a
fly.
suit and drying my hair and everything. I'm like, I'm not sure how this is gonna work tomorrow. It's gonna be a mess. So I'm not looking forward to it in the morning.
Yeah. Well, and we have our move-in date is October 1st.
Yeah, I heard. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I am not looking forward to packing.
Yeah.
I just I don't like it, but I'm keeping.
We were talking. There's the silver lining is the purging aspect.
Yes.
I mean?
I'm very much looking forward to the purging.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot. It's 5 years worth of living in there. So
yeah.
Just and then once you've moved everything out, and then you got to clean.
Yeah.
And
you do.
I do. Now,
there you go.
No, I'm going to do it because, but I mean, at least, the good thing, I talked to Debbie today because she's still looking for a place. And I'm like, hey, have you found a place?
Yeah.
She's like, no, not yet. And I go, well, if you can hold out till November 1st, because I'm keeping an extra month so that I could do a slow move, like gradually move stuff out. I said, if you can keep it till November 1st, or hold on, I can get you into my place. So I'm going to tell my landlord I got somebody lined up for you. She is somebody that you can rely on and not, she won't destroy the place, which is good.
We ran into Debbie, actually. Mom and I went to last Thursday because of Carol Reardon. We stopped at Savorhood because it was kind of on the way to the Spangler Farm, and we were running a little bit late. So we were like, oh, this will be fast. It'll be great. And Debbie was there, actually, and we had dinner together. I didn't get a chance to ask her, like, well, why is she moving?
Why is Debbie moving?
Yeah. So just,
I haven't asked her that myself. I don't know.
Okay, I wasn't.
All I know is, like, right now, from what I know, she's renting a room, and it's pretty steep rent for a room.
I guess I missed that. Okay, I knew she had part of a house.
Well, maybe it's part of it. I mean, she has access to other parts of the house too. But
I see.
So but I don't know, like if that was the term, like it's like let me just stay here for a few months, or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't
I'm
asked.
losing track of that too. Colby was just saying like how many months ago things happened, and I mean Debbie's been here since what March? No, maybe even before that. February, so it's half a year for that already.
I mean, this year has gone by so fast.
You're telling me, so Taylor and I have lived here for over 2 years now.
I know that went fast too. I thought you've only been here a year.
I know it's gone by so quick, man. It has gone by so quick.
Wait a minute, does that mean Eric's been gone for 2 years, or did
no?
We here?
Eric left last fall. It'll be a year.
Eric was here for the first year I was here.
Okay, all right. So there was overlap between you. Wow, man.
Yeah, I know.
Holy heck.
Hey, did anybody get to see Eric this past week?
No. Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody who saw him. I can't remember who it was.
Maybe Bethany. Maybe.
Well, I mean, obviously Beth did, but it was somebody else. It was somebody who went and saw.
Yeah, we were down in Appomattox.
I know. How was that?
It was awesome.
So it was a Jim Hessler experience?
So Jim Hessler and Phil Foggy.
By the way, wait a second. This morning, I'm doing my little drive around, and I'm coming out of the battlefield on Steinway across from Pickett's Buffet.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like a whole group of people walking, on the sidewalk and turning into the parking lot behind Pickett's. And I see Jim and Jody at the tail of the group. So I stopped my car and I roll down the window. I'm like, "Are you Jim Hessler? Hi, is that Jim Hessler?" And he goes, "Oh yeah. Aren't you the Breakfast Club guy?" And I go, "Yeah, it's me. I'm Darren Weeks."
Oh my God.
And we had a little exchange there, and nobody laughed. Go ahead, just tell me your story.
No. So Jim and Phil Spoggy have a little like tour group thing, I guess. I don't even know. So Jim coordinated the event just like he did out in Tombstone and everything when we went with him, and he's done other trips, Chancellorsville, DC, et cetera. Little Bighorn, they do those like side trips. But he coordinated this. There was a gentleman by the name of Patrick Schrader, spelled Schroeder.
Another one.
Yeah, I don't understand where that comes from.
Somebody's got to explain that to me.
Yeah, me too. I actually grew up with a Nathan Schrader, Schrader.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that's how you say Schrader, and the other one Schroeder.
But I wonder if that's the Americanized version, like Schroeder. What we call Schroeder, but they call Schrader in German is the OE is aid
or something.
Or something.
Or whatever. Okay.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because German also has that B that's supposed to be a double S or something.
I don't know.
Like Strasse is Straub. Okay,
I'll
whatever.
take your word for it. I've never studied German.
I haven't either. Don't take my word for anything on that. But go ahead. So
anyway, so Patrick Schroeder is the I guess his title is he's the head of the National Park Service down in Appomattox Courthouse. So he literally was the one that actually gave the tour, and it was 2 full days. I mean, the whole deep dive of the last week, basically coming into the campaign, it was super cool because like there are historic houses that have bullet holes that have been handed down through the family that's still in the family since like the the battles that happened outside of Appomattox. There's a church down there that was built in the 1700s, I think, and it's still like he had access to that. Like all these different like things you wouldn't be able to if you just went to Appomattox Courthouse and went to the Park Service. You could see obviously the McLean House and stuff like that. Right. But this was like super effing cool.
Now, were these in the park or were these?
No. Some of it was in park property. Some of it is in hands of like almost the equivalent of like what the Friends would be. They have like a like their state park or whatever the association. The American Battlefield Trust preserved quite a bit of land down there that they're getting ready to turn over, not to the Park Service from what I understand, but to the state park, like leading up to the battle.
Yeah.
Because you go from Petersburg and down through all these other little towns and everything. I mean, it's 50 miles to get to Appomattox Court. I mean, these guys fought for
It's out
7
there,
days.
yeah.
And it was so a lot of it went over my head, candidly. Like, I don't know some of these guys after Gettysburg,
Right,
2 years after.
right.
I don't know the commanders. I don't know whoever Army of the James is involved. Like,
Right.
I mean,
right.
the who and the what kind of was over my head. But to be in those historic places, see the bloodstains on the church floor, see the like that. But then to actually be in McLean's, and this is another one. It's spelled McLean,
Yeah.
but everybody was pronouncing it McLean.
Really?
Yes, the McLean.
Well, McLean, Virginia is spelled McLean, but they pronounce it McLean,
McLean, yeah.
so it must be a Virginia thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Wilmer McLean's house.
Yeah.
To actually be in the room. Now, again, that was like rebuilt, right? So it's not exactly, but it's still pretty damn cool.
Sure, of
It
course.
was
It's still
pretty
the
neat.
space
That was
where
my-
it happened.
Yeah.
I have to go to one of these things that Jim does. He does these all the time. I just never have to. I always find out about them when they're about to go down or right after they've gone down, you know? And it's not that I'm expecting an engraved invitation. I'm not. I don't keep up with things.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to keep up. I'm thinking of what am I doing next?
I
I
don't know how
can't.
much he advertised it either, because actually Ralph Siegel messaged me privately and was like, "How'd you find out about this?" Because I had posted some, or I think I was actually tagged in a picture that Jim posted. But some of the battlefield guides were involved. John Zervis was there, Susan Stramello. He's not a guide, but Steve Floyd, the author of Casualties, was there. Obviously Michelle and like the McGills were there, and I think we had 25-ish people. Casey Turbin was there.
Yeah, Casey was there.
Yeah.
How? So how did you find out about it?
Somehow I got on the mailing list back a couple years ago when he was doing the Tombstone, the email list.
Yeah.
But there is like, I hope I'm not out of line. I mean, there is a Facebook group called like, I don't know, Hessler Spoggy.
Yeah,
or Spoggy
he was
Hessler
talking
Travel
about
or
that when
something.
he was
Did
here.
Okay.
What did we call it? H-Spit or something like that?
Yeah, that's
Hessler Spoggy. I forgot he had a funny thing that he
when
called
they get
it.
the group rates for the hotel or whatever. Anyway, travel something SP travel whatever it is. But so I don't think it's private. I mean, if the group is private, you have to like ask to be involved in it. But I don't think. I mean, it's open. It's not like some secret society or anything.
Did he?
I'm not now a Mason,
Since the Army of the James, you mentioned the Army of the James. Did he talk about? I know he's big with Custer. Did he talk about
Ronaldo Custer, George's cousin?
Yeah. Ronald McKenzie.
Did a lot of Custer. There was actually a lot of Custer. Matter of fact, the final like optional little detour was where Custer saves the ladies, and there was actually a little tidbit on a house that we had access to. Where Custer actually intervened, I guess, on some Union soldiers that were apparently like drunk and kind of taking advantage, at least, of the house, and the women were afraid they were going to be the next victims, and Custer kind of like put the guys in their place, sort of.
See, there you go, George. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
It was a really cool.
No Ronald McKenzie talk.
That name does not sound familiar to me.
He's the most famous Indian fighter, after the war. But he was in the Army of the James. He's a cavalry commander in the Army of the James. I'm pretty sure. Or infantry. No, he ends up being an infantry commander in the Army of the James.
If he had something to do with the Appomattox campaign, it might have just been a name that kind of
blew over your head.
Kind of, but Ronaldo would seem. I would.
Ronald.
Oh,
Ronald.
Well, even that.
So French. Is it?
Even that.
Like
I don't know. Maybe
AULD? Is that how he spells it?
No, it's RANALD.
Oh, Ranald. I think it's Ranald.
But when Jim Hessler pronounced it Ronald.
Oh, did he?
When he was here the other day. Or maybe not when he's here. I might have been watching a video of his preparation. He starts out a slideshow talking about Custer, and it's a picture of Custer, Nelson Miles, and Ronald McKenzie. The three big Indian fighters.
I don't know. Ranald sounds familiar to me, but maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Maybe they were talking about it, but it might have just been names I don't know.
But that's cool. I've never been down there. I've always wanted to go.
You should have Patrick on.
Patrick.
Patrick Schrader from Appomattox.
Sure.
Not only is he the Appomattox expert, he actually does a lot of stuff on the Zouaves, all the different regiments of Zouaves. He's like a big expert about that.
Really?
Does a speaking tour about those kinds of issues, and also the Appomattox campaign. But it might be kind of interesting to have him on to do like Meade was at Appomattox, but he wasn't at the surrender. He was sick. Like who was there, who wasn't, like Custer, blah blah blah.
Custer, yeah. Gettysburg connections
at the surrender.
too.
Did you know that?
What?
One of the most famous paintings
has Custer there.
Custer in
but he
the
wasn't
room,
there.
but he was not in the room. He was in the campaign.
Right.
And he had a big part in that, but he was not physically in the room when the surrender.
But wasn't he
Got the table.
outside or
got-
something?
He got the table, right?
No, Sheridan bought the table for Libby. Gave it to her as a gift. So I mean, yes, Custer got it, but Sheridan gave it to Libby as a gift.
But what he said it was because
your husband had
did more
much something like that
Yeah.
to bring about the surrender.
I feel like so there's multiple parts to this, right? And I'm not going to be able to give a quiz or anything, but obviously there were negotiations and letters being exchanged. And stuff like that. And then the actual terms were hammered out, obviously outside of the surrender, like the specifics of everything. I feel like there was a desktop from Gibbon, maybe
Could have been.
where things were kind of like more of the conference was actually kind of like held at, I guess, I don't know, pre or post the actual surrender in terms of like how the for example, the artillery and the cavalry had horses and things like that to take care of. So they were actually like the first units to kind of surrender. The infantry was last, like that kind of stuff. But it happened over several days as well. But there's in the museum there, they have the tabletop that's actually kind of inscribed. But I'm almost positive it was Gibbon.
Did they go through the encounter between Custer and Longstreet in the days prior to the surrender?
I don't think so.
I don't know
remember
about
that.
this encounter. I was
Yeah, I
going to
don't
ask
remember about
about.
that.
I was going to ask if they went over John Gordon doing the horse salute to
Chamberlain.
They did. They actually, Patrick did. I mean, he talked a little bit about some of the differences in scholarship. I guess maybe William Marvel actually kind of claims that Chamberlain wasn't even there based on like one obscure source when there's like 6 sources that say he absolutely was the one, but it's like some book. So they kind of talked about that a little bit.
Did the salute happen? That's kind of what I'm curious. Because I've heard that it didn't. I've heard that it did.
Yeah,
See, again, that sounds like
that's
one
why
of
you should
those.
have Patrick on.
Yeah, well, there you go. Maybe we will.
Yeah.
No, but the Custer Longstreet story, and it's been a long time since I've read Custer Victorious or anything about Custer outside of Gettysburg or the Little Bighorn, so forgive me if I get the details wrong. But it was like Custer gets into the Confederate lines, I guess, under a flag of truce, and goes up to Longstreet and demands his surrender of the army or something like that. And Longstreet just kind of just dresses him down. Like, listen, you little whippersnapper, I'm not commander of this army. Like, I can't. Like, he was like really pissed.
The only thing I really heard that I recall that stands out about Longstreet is, when the original letter comes in from Grant, basically kind of proposing a surrender for, to avoid the needless bloodshed, yada yada. Lee and Longstreet confer, and I think it's Longstreet that says not yet.
We're not yet.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's. I mean, and it was like another day or two, but whatever, because his corps was fairly fresh, right? Like it wasn't.
Dude, they were in such a bad position, though. There was no way. There was no way.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to just see if maybe there was something he could come up
But
with.
that's the only thing I remember about Longstreet. I don't remember them talking. But anyway, yes. So here, I don't know. You're probably not going to be able to see this, but this is a picture of the tabletop, and it says, on this table was signed the final agreement for the surrender of the Army of Northern Virginia at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, 8:30 p.m., April 10th, 1865. By Lieutenant General Longstreet, Major General John B. Gordon, and Brigadier General Pendleton, and CSA, and then Major General John Gibbon, Brevet Major General Charles Griffin, and Brevet Major General William Merritt, or W. Merritt, U.S. Army. So there's that. I mean, that's actually kind of cool because it's. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Here, let me see if I can.
Sorry, you can probably
Turn it sideways. Yeah. Let's see. Go to my camera.
Found it.
Anyway, I mean, it's Oh, that
There
actually
you
came out
go.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of neat stuff.
That's neat.
The museum there's pretty cool, and then obviously the building they pretty much have like historic Appomattox Courthouse basically rebuilt, like the different buildings and stuff like that. So anyway, if
That's
you get a
cool.
chance to go down, it was a really neat
Yeah,
experience.
I gotta get down there at some point. My friend Keith Harvey lives down there, and he's like, you ever want to come down? I'll take you around. And I just never. It's just like 4 hours away.
Yeah, well, that was another thing. On the way down on Friday, we had all kinds of. We were. Mom and I were stuck at least behind 3 major. I don't know if they were accidents or some kind of delays on 95. We ended up. At one
you
point
took
I got
95.
so frustrated. Well, it was It was still the shortest way down.
Oh.
For us, anyway. On the way back, we took 15 the whole way up through like the scenic little towns and everything. But that was another hour.
Yeah.
From But anyway, so we got behind like 3 different traffic accidents. We took a detour. We saw Chatham Manor
I thought you
for
were
a
going to
little
say
while.
Chattanooga for
Chattanooga.
You saw Chattanooga. That's nice.
We saw the newly named Fort Mary Walker. So that was kind of cool. And
Oh,
then
I
we
saw
ended
the
up making
picture.
our
Now,
way
what was
down, so-
what was that formerly?
Hill.
That was AP Hill. Okay.
Let me tell you something
My
about
grandfather
Fort AP
trained
Hill.
there.
Yeah.
I have twice been to AP Hill, Fort AP Hill, and it is a miserable place. Well,
That's what
when
he
it was
said.
called Fort AP Hill. It's miserable, dude. That's where the East Coast Marines do their cold weather training.
Oh, wow.
I mean, as cold as it can get, but the reason they do it there is the weather there is so miserable. It might not snow, but it'll be like it'll be like close to freezing temperature, like 30 something degrees and 35, 34 degrees in the winter, and it just rains the whole time.
That's fun. Cold and wet.
Miserable experience.
Debbie's apparently chilling at the airport watching the show, so have a safe flight, Debbie. We'll see you when you come back. Let's see. 6 questions. Lentz is happy to see you back here, Ronnie Ronstadt. Andy says hello from Smithfield, VA. Hello, Andy. Sarah Woodhouse, that's a new name by me. I don't recognize that. She says, more Tim Smith sound effects. Love AG. Thank you, Sarah. And let's see. Everybody's talking to everybody. That's good. I like to see that. Everybody talking about things, et cetera, and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a guest today, so we're just kind of catching up and all that other stuff. So if you want to call in, anything on your mind at all, you want to talk about, whether it's AG related or Gettysburg related or whatever, just call in, have some fun with us, and I guarantee you none of you are going to call. Right? I mean, I say it every week. I'm like, call in. I want to hear from you. No, we'll just sit here and type. Okay, that's good too. It helps. It all helps. And Debbie says, and I cannot. Oh, thank you. You're welcome, Debbie. That's my pleasure. February. She was here in February. Ronnie, Debbie.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's almost a half a year then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This year's gone so freaking fast.
Or more than half a year, I guess.
And Todd B says Matt's right. It's pronounced Ranald.
Oh, look at there.
Okay, so you and Jim Hassler
I did
kiss
know,
my foot.
I was right about him, McKenzie, though, being in the Army of the James.
Well,
and okay, before, I guess by the end of the war, because he is breveted a major general, so he's commanding a division of cavalry. But before that, I'm pretty sure he's in charge of an infantry brigade.
Maybe, I don't know. But Ranald Mackenzie sounds familiar to me, but when you say Renald,
it's he's related to someone else famous. Slidell. Does the last name Slidell mean anything to you guys?
Slidell. Lee Harvey Oswald used the alias Alex Heidel, but no. Otherwise, Slidell. No, Slidell kind of does ring a bell.
Because the only reason I know that is I just reread Empire of the
Summer Moon? Oh,
the
it's such a good one.
book. It's great, and it talks about him. And
the Slidell affair, is that?
Well, his name actually was Ranald Mackenzie Slidell, and he had a maternal uncle that asked him to switch the names around.
Aha.
And so it became Ranald Slidell
yes.
Mackenzie.
Longstreet scolded Custer at Appomattox, says Todd B. Mackenzie commanded the cavalry division of the Army of the James. Let's see. Okay. Good night, Andy. Okay. Good night. He's done already. And should have taken 81 to avoid 95 traffic. What do you say to that, Ronnie? What's your argument against it?
So I don't. That's not what GPS said.
GPS. It's always the GPS.
I really had no idea how to get down there. But yeah, 95. We took, like I said, we took 15 on the way back, just to take our time, and it was neat. That
Does
was actually
15 run through the valley?
No.
What would happen if you try to get down there by going through the valley? Is that just
that's 81? That you could take that down, and then I think you hit some road and cut east and hit Appomattox, from what I understand. Hey, you know what? Wait a second, guys. I can look it up. I can look it up right here. Let's do that.
This show is boiled down to
Appomattox. Here we go. Thank you. All right, we're going to the map here. And let's get directions from my current location, which is Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. All right. Yeah, it has me going down 81 the whole way. Take 81, then you hit Stanton, and you hit 64, it looks like.
Staunton.
No, it's Stanton. Don't you dare say Staunton.
It's S-T-A-U, right? Staunton.
It's Stanton.
I thought they pronounced it.
They
Staunton.
pronounce it Stanton.
Stanton.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Just
listen,
like
are
they
you going to listen? Are you going to listen to them?
Buford down in when it's actually Beaufort.
Beaufort. Yeah.
South Carolina.
I pronounced it Buford.
There was a girl. There was a
But
girl.
It's not spelled Buford.
No, it's Beaufort.
Yeah.
There was a girl I went to college with, and she was from Staunton, And I saw it written on a piece of paper, and I said, "Oh, I don't know where Staunton is. Where's that?" And she goes, "Oh no," I said, "Oh, Staunton isn't that where Lee is from, or something like that? Or Lee was born, or something like that? Wasn't he born in Staunton?"
I don't know, but I know Jackson
Stanton?
spends a lot of time in Stanton. I can't do it. I'm going to say Staunton.
Anyway, I something rang a bell about it, and she immediately snapped at me and corrected me. She goes, "It's Stanton, not Staunton."
It's like people with
Like, all right,
Ortana
whatever.
here.
It's what?
It's like if you say Ortana here.
It's Ortana.
Dude, they won't even say it's. You'll say, "Oh, I'm from Ortana." Like, let's say you say, "I'm from Ortana," and then they'll just expect you to keep going.
Right, Ortana, idiot.
Yeah,
That's what they
so
say.
now I say Ortana just out of spite.
If you took 81, Ronnie, it's a 4-hour and 16-minute drive. Everything else, all the other routes are 4.5 hours.
I don't remember 80. Maybe something was going on 81 on Friday.
it be?
Well, it was
Could
also
be.
Labor Day weekend, right? So there was a lot of traffic.
So it said, let's
but
just
it's-
put her on 95 where all the traffic's going
Worst
to
Right, I
way
know.
possible.
be. The absolute worst.
The reason I would have sought out the worst. I actually had to override the highway option to get on Route 15 because that wasn't even an option that they were giving us on the way down. And then somebody said it over lunch the one day that they were going to take 15 or maybe even take the Skyline Drive, like up through Shenandoah National Park, like the scenic tour, through the Blue Ridge Mountains there on the way back. And I was like, oh, you know what, Route 15. So I tried to override the highway option because it
Right.
defaults to the fastest.
Yeah,
route.
right.
And it allowed me to do that. But that was actually a neat trip on the way down. On the way up, I'm sorry, on the way up.
Virginia's a beautiful state.
Yeah.
It's just gorge. Let's see. Our buddy Six Questions wants to talk about Randall McKenzie.
There we go. It's been a while. I miss old 6 questions. How you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing quite well. No major complaints. I need to get out there more often, but it's kind of difficult.
Out
so,
here
but
or out to Appomattox?
I'm doing okay. Well, Appomattox and out to Gettysburg.
Right.
I haven't ever been to Appomattox. So I need to get there.
Yeah.
But,
Is your back all
Reynolds-
healed, Mike? Oh, hold on. Before you go on to Mackenzie here, is your back all healed?
Yeah.
Everybody's wanting to
Yeah,
know.
it is.
People are worried. Your
So
back's
I'm gonna
healed.
be-
You're
yeah,
up
I'm
and
gonna be
about,
there.
right?
I'm up and about. I'll be there for the September Get Out of the Car tour.
Perfect.
Annoying Lewis with my questions.
Good.
So,
Speaking
yeah.
of which, by the way, thank you for that. Peter Carmichael will be joining us in September as a special guest. So not only will you have Lewis doing the great job he always does, Peter Carmichael is going to be supplementing that with some of his own research, and 6 Questions will be badgering them both with questions. So it's going to be
I got to get him on down to Antietam this month for the anniversary.
6 Questions?
Oh yeah, I want to see him badger some people down there too.
Well, unfortunately, that's
Absolutely.
the same weekend as the tour, I think. So
We can do both.
don't be poaching my people.
17th is Sunday. In
Yeah,
fairness,
17th is Sunday, so just go down Sunday.
I won't steal him for the fighting in the Eastwoods.
And if you hang around for the news and events, I have another event that week leading up to the anniversary
very
with a friend
nice.
of the show. So I will keep you all in suspense. But there's plenty of stuff to do in Antietam that does not conflict with the Get Out of the Car tour. So there you go.
Well, good. All right. So go ahead, Mikey. What do you want to say about Randall McKenzie?
He actually finished first in his class of 1862 at West Point.
Nerd.
He's actually a part of an interesting trivia question at Gettysburg. Near Little Round Top and in that general vicinity, you're going to have 3 officers in the Union Army who finished first in their class at West Point at the Battle of Gettysburg. Patrick O'Rourke, Ronald McKenzie, and Henry Eustis, the brigade commander in the 6th Corps.
Okay, so
all 3 finished first.
This McKenzie is our McKenzie, Randall McKenzie. That's why it sounded familiar.
McKenzie's our McKenzie. Yep.
Okay.
He defeated the Comanche. I mean, he is like after the war. He pretty much wins the Indian Wars for the U.S. military.
Which Indian War?
He finishes up the Great Sioux War. Like he actually shows up to Little Bighorn a few months after the fact, after Custer and his men have been massacred, and finishes up the job. But before that, he really makes a name for himself fighting the Comanche down in Texas and New Mexico. I think the Red River War? Is that what it is, Mike?
That's the Red River War. Yep. Red River War.
This guy's got a very illustrious career, to say the least.
Those Comanche were some tough MFers.
Dude, you're telling me I would not want to fight him. I would not want to fight him.
No. Hell no. Hell's tether no.
And after he served on Warren's staff as an engineer, he would go on to command the 2nd Connecticut Heavy Artillery Regiment through some pretty heavy battles, Cold Harbor among them, which was their baptism of fire, really.
Doesn't he would go on to an infantry brigade after that?
Yes, the brigade in the 6th Corps, and is wounded at the Battle of Cedar Creek. So he will come back and command a cavalry division in the Army of the James, and he'll end as one of the more promising major generals in the Army, according to one of his commanders.
But did he follow through on his promises? That's the question. Everybody goes around making promises, but did he follow through?
He did. He most definitely did. With his after the fact. But he actually, Grant says he is the most promising young officer in the Army at the end of the war.
Mm-hmm.
Todd B says Mackenzie loses his mind and dies in St. Elizabeth Hospital in D.C. at 48.
He does.
48.
They say that he fell off of a wagon.
He does bad. Yeah.
Right? He fell off a wagon and had some kind of head injury that led to him losing his mind.
Wow.
All right. Well, so thank you, Mike, for the information on Ranald Mackenzie there. Yes, go ahead. You wanted to fill
it was annoying me a little bit, but I had to call it.
Yeah. What was annoying you? Renald?
Well, yes, that was annoying me. But what was annoying me also is that you forgot that Carol Reardon liked to do bird watching. It was a huge part of her spotlight episode.
So I saw that you commented that, and I saw that, and I just had to laugh to myself because I'm not exaggerating when I say the minute I hit the stop button, I forget everything we've said. And then, and then months go by, and however many dozen more shows are recorded in the interim and before the show comes out to the audience. So I don't remember things. I really don't remember things. People are lucky I remember their names, and I don't remember most people's names. So to remember a thing about bird watching, I just didn't remember that. Yeah, I know. And she kind of looked at me like she wanted to punch me because she's like, yeah, I like bird watching. I'm like, oh, you do? And she's like, yeah. It's like, no, she didn't do that. But no, all right. Well, that's what I love about living around here is you could just be taking a little drive around the battlefield and you bump into Carol Reardon, or you see Scott Hartwig riding his bike, or Pete Carmichael testing out scarves.
Have I ever told you my Carol Reardon story when I first moved here?
No.
During COVID, everybody was still in masks and everything, and basically when only the grocery stores were open.
Right.
So we run into Kenny's and shopping around.
Yeah.
I know it's Carol. I mean, Carol Reardon has a distinct look, right? She's kind of small, like little lady, like whatever. So from behind, we're at the deli counter, and I'm like, I whisper to Mom, I'm like, that's Carol Reardon. Mom's like, what is that? What does that mean? So I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, excuse me, doctor. And she kind of turned around, I said, you have no idea who I am. I just moved here. I know who you are.
But my arm hurts
really
when I do this.
Can you tell me what's
I'm not that kind of doctor.
Elbow tennis elbow. But yeah, she couldn't have been nicer. But I definitely caught her off guard when she was ordering her chip chop ham or whatever.
Chip chop ham.
Whatever she was picking up.
Yeah, I like that you listened to prior episodes that you missed like that. So you're keeping up with things.
Yeah, that's Western Pennsylvania stuff for sure.
Chip chop ham.
Isley's chip chop
What
ham.
the hell is chip chop ham?
It's really thinly sliced.
Oh, that's right. It's shaved, almost like it's shaved. Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of prior episodes.
Yes.
What did you learn about the swamp dragons?
All kinds of stuff. What do you want me to tell you?
I haven't been able to watch it yet. I heard Cam had an interesting hypothesis on it
though. He had an interesting hypothesis on something. I can't remember what it was. I haven't listened to it again. Here's what I learned. There was an interesting story about the swamp dragons that he told. It was about a murder. Well,
don't you want to let people listen to it?
Well, yes, you're going to have to listen to it when it comes out on Patreon.
I was thinking more the bird's eye view level. What'd you walk away with?
But by the way, all right, good question. By the way, though, let me just finish that thought. If you are a first lieutenant on Patreon currently, or if you become one, you can go and listen to it now. You can watch the recording session And boy, what a recording session it was. So, yes, you can go and watch it and see how it is before everybody else. What was your question? What a bird's eye view?
Yeah, just
so
what, the lessons learned.
Like what we were saying when we were watching those clips from Ride with the Devil and talking about Quantrell and all those guys, they were like gangs.
Okay.
So the Swamp Dragons were like a gang, or like Mosby's Raiders, like Rangers. They would, go out, do something. Not all of them, some of them, to go and do something and then scatter, lots of names of towns I've never heard of, and I don't know their proximity to each other and, other things. But Cam did a good job. The audience seemed to like it, and they were very encouraging of him. And, Mike, what did you think? You were watching, right?
It's a fascinating story because
It
it's
is.
not a major battle. They're not involved in any major campaigns, really.
Right.
But it's one of those stories. What happens in the Civil War is you have these pockets of fighting that occur between neighbor versus neighbor in some of these border states.
Yep.
And this is a great example of that, of neighbor turning on neighbor, exploiting old grudges, and then creating new ones. It's like real Hatfield and McCoy type stuff that's going on there.
And it reminds me, if you've ever seen Ride with the Devil, they touch on that type of stuff too. Neighbors turning on neighbors and everything. And
I was telling you, I read.
Oh, there's a swamp dragon.
I was telling you before the show. I read a few years ago. I read a book called 3 Years with Quantrill.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, obviously, there's none of the major battles are mentioned, with the exception of Lawrence, the Lawrence, Kansas.
Don't call me Lawrence.
Massacre, but outside of that, it's such a unique thing to read about. Because it is crazy. I read most history books and try to put myself in the position of the guys that I'm reading about. And, dude, even though it's not like these massive conventional battles, it's no less scary than what those guys were doing.
Oh, God. It's probably got to be scary. Well, maybe not scarier, but
you're really out on your own.
Yeah.
And if you get caught, game over.
Right. No, yeah.
So it's interesting. And, the allure of Jesse James.
Of course. Mikey, got to let you go. Got to move on here. Thank you very much for the phone call.
See you, Mike.
Have a good night. Thank you.
You too, man.
Bye-bye.
Real quick, if we're getting caught up in comments, Barbara Schultz says Mason and Slidell Trent affair, she thinks.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Is that what you're talking about there, Colby? Or no, it was a different slide. You just said Randall's name was Slidell.
Yeah, his last name was originally Slidell, but I don't think it had something to do with his father, and his father was someone famous, and I don't really know who.
Got it.
I can't remember.
We were trying to figure out where we've heard Slidell before.
Right.
And then also, just a real quick happy birthday to Ghost of Sickle's Legs. He says he or she, the ghost, I don't know, do ghosts have...
I think,
do ghosts
well,
have,
if it's Sickle's leg, it's a he.
Okay,
Yeah,
Ghost of Sickle's Leg. Does that body part have a gender identity?
Well, it's part of a gender, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so
a gendered
then-
body, so yes, I would imagine.
All right, well, we are wishing him and his leg a happy 57th birthday. Thanks for being with us.
57?
Yes.
I think you're missing 100-something years, It's a little older than that. Happy birthday to you, Ghost of Sickle's Leg, of course. All right, so what we're going to do here, I got some exciting half announcements. I'm not full details yet, but I had little teases that I've got for you and a couple of other things. So I see we have another call there. Hang on the line. Don't go anywhere. We'll get to you in the next segment, I promise. And if I don't live up to that promise, then wait again for the next segment, and then eventually.
Oh, poor Ollie. My God, we were listening last week, and I'm like, does Matt know Ollie's still on? Does Matt know Ollie's still on? Like, I mean,
he was on for like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I know.
Ollie, he's such a sweet guy.
I know he is. He really is. He's a nice guy. All right, we'll take a break and be right back.
Aren't you glad you used Dial? We are too. We'll be right back.
Bullshit.
Want the freshest cup of coffee in Gettysburg? Then visit Bantam Roasters, formerly 82 Cafe at 82 Steinway Avenue. They roast all of their coffee in-house, and they have a full coffee bar to keep you caffeinated during your trip. Visit them at www.raggededgerc.com for their menu and shipping options for all of their freshly roasted coffee. Use promo code HANCOCK for 10% off your order in the cafe. Enjoy historical stories on the History Fix platform. Explore movies, short films, and documentaries. Addressing Gettysburg podcast fans receive an extra $5 off the first year's annual subscription. Sign up at historyfix.com and use promo code Gettysburg. Every subscription includes a 7-day risk-free trial. Escape into history with History Fix.
This episode of Addressing Gettysburg is brought to you in part by me, audiobook narrator Mike Scott. Narrator of Savis Beattie's Bloody Autumn, the Shenandoah Valley Campaign of 1864, and Unlike Anything That Ever Floated, The Monitor and Virginia and the Battle of Hampton Roads. If you are an author or publisher interested in having your titles produced as audiobooks, or even just in learning more about the process, give me a shout. You can find my contact info on my website, MikeScottVoice.com. That's MikeScottVoice.com.
The 1863 civilians of Gettysburg were reluctant witnesses to the Great Battle. Join Ken Rich, the man in the red shirt, for his historic town walking tours. You could book these tours by emailing ken@gettysburgtownhistory.com. That's ken@gettysburgtownhistory.com. And when you're in town, look for the guy in the red shirt.
And Civil War Trails. It's the world's largest open-air museum, and they offer over 1,300 sites across 6 states. Drive the Gettysburg campaign turn by turn, paddle to Frederick Douglass's birthplace, or hike to remote earthworks and artillery positions. Visit civilwartrails.org to request a brochure and explore their interactive map. Follow Civil War Trails and create some history of your own.
You're listening to the Addressing Gettysburg podcast with Matt Callery.
There's a swamp dragon.
Want to promote your Gettysburg business? Send an email to sales@addressinggettysburg.com.
Hey, what happened? Averill his men elegantly.
That's right.
Loose the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. Its truth is marching on. So we got to figure out our karaoke rules, but we'll do that another day when the full crew is here.
I wouldn't mind talking about it right now. At least ideas for.
Well, all right. How about this? Related to it, but not actually getting into it. So we have the whole. Of course, everybody loves this one, the newest of the Ronnie clips.
As I recall it,
By the way, Bethany is helping me there.
Yeah,
You noted
yeah,
Bethany's-
yeah.
As I recall it,
That's great.
She's joining you. So I was listening to that song the other day, right? And now I can't hear anything other than what you say.
Because that's what they say. I'm convinced that's still the sexual, like I don't know, there's some kind
Innuendo.
of yeah.
Maybe you did it at live performance.
And then maybe they only wrote the words that I think it is, but
Yeah, where are these lyrics coming from that you're relying on? Listen with your own ears and just rely on what you hear.
right.
That's the way I do it.
Don't believe my lying ears or something like that. Yeah. So
By
then
the way, I'm finishing up my present.
Go ahead.
It was so hot in the house, I did not feel like eating. Now I'm in air conditioning. I'm like pigging out
like
again.
feed me. Yeah.
So,
Isn't
sorry,
that
guys,
funny?
I'm gonna crunch
How you
in
don't
your
want to
ears,
eat in
but-
the heat?
Oh, I didn't want to do anything in the heat. I didn't even want to like roll over on the couch in the heat. I was like, I laid there like a slug. It was my only defense.
No, I know. It's hard to do anything in the heat, and the older you get, it's much harder to do. Anyway. So I was listening to the song the other day, and then I remembered, there's a line there that I still don't know, and we'll find it out today. But here's what the line. Sorry, I had to spit my gum out. Here's what the line is. Was it? Oh, well, shit. Now I can't remember where it is in this. Oh, it's I felt the rush like a rolling ball of thunder, spinning my head around, and what do you think he says there?
Pulling my body under.
Oh, okay. I always thought it was spinning my head around and take it from Artie Unger. I'm like, who's Artie Unger, and why are we taking things from him?
Maybe it is.
But now we're gonna let me Google.
Dude, I think we should just do
There's
songs
no way to
that are
know.
hard to understand lyric-wise. So a little Pearl Jam, maybe a little Rocket Man. Maybe what's the Beatles song?
Helter Skelter?
No. Come Together. Come Together. All the words are so confusing in that song.
Oh, because they don't make any sense. All right, let's see. So I felt a rush like a rolling ball of thunder, spinning my head around and taking my body under. Okay, there you go. So you got it right. Taking my body under.
I thought it was pulling my body. Well, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I got a funny feeling as she walked in the room, and he's like going, like, oh my, like he's saying, and my, as I recall, it ended much too soon. Oh, okay. So it's
maybe I've heard the uncensored version.
maybe. Oh God. So anyway.
By the way, I want to set one rule for this
karaoke thing.
Yeah, if whatever song you sing, it's your song. So whatever lyrics come out of your voice or out of your mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or right or wrong.
Right. You don't have to look up the correct lyrics. If you want to just go off the top of your head from what you think it is.
Right.
Janistal Eyes, as my sister thought Kool and the Gang's Cherish was. Right. Or there was something with Toto's Africa that I can't remember, but she screwed one of those lines up too this is when we were really little too, you know. But anyway, Janistal Eyes. I don't even know what the hell that is.
Rosanna.
No, that one's not hard to
Dude, that's a great one. You know who's in that music video?
Patrick Swayze.
He is. Young little Pat's in that music video, dancing it up for the peoples.
Huh. I have to. I don't remember that video.
End. He's at the very end. It's the most 80s looking video.
Oh, is it the one where they're behind the chain link fence? Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. That one.
It's so funny. It's a great song though, man.
But you notice how so music was better when the look of the performers didn't matter.
Video killed the radio star, man.
Yeah, it really did, because as people got better looking, music got shittier, right? Because you can't be good looking and talented. You got to be one or the other, right?
Very rare exceptions.
Very rare exceptions. But
yeah, I mean, well, that's I don't know. Come to think, because
wow.
look at I was starting to say one thing and I was like, wait a minute, actually, I don't believe that. But look at male actors, right?
Go ahead.
There's some not fantastic looking male actors that are like A-list, like Steve Buscemi. Not exactly
good looking,
right?
Yeah.
But then you have I'm trying to think. You don't see a ton of women that aren't attractive. Like, unless they're
Charlize
just
Theron in Monsters.
Well, but that was makeup.
Yeah, but still,
look like
makeup
that, right?
or not, that was an excellent performance, and she did not look good.
Because she's a good actress. See, that's the thing.
Look at some of the big names. Like Tom Petty wasn't a particularly good-looking guy.
He wasn't.
Both the guys from Steel.
But that's my point.
I mean, they weren't.
Lady Gaga's Gaga's not particularly good looking,
but she can be done up to be.
Yeah, but like she's not like a Britney Spears was when she came out.
No,
or
she's
although Britney Spears now is something scary.
That's a whole other thing.
Ever since Britney Spears, I fell off the bandwagon.
Britney Spears. But no, you could go with what you said, but that's what I'm saying. The Tom Petty thing. Tom Petty started in the 70s, so
fair enough.
There was no music video. Phil Collins, not a good-looking guy, great songwriter.
Yeah.
Tom Petty, as you say. Bruce Springsteen. What do you think?
Oh, I think he's hot.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Is it him or the persona that he emulates?
No, I think he's hot.
Now,
like 70s.
or
I mean, I still think he's a good-looking guy.
So when he was young, you think he was a good-looking guy?
Actually, no.
Yeah, as he got older.
As he got older.
Interesting.
Like the shorter hair and the.
Okay. You're not a big fan of the long hair guys.
Well, maybe not on him.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I think that I mean, you have some examples of like some exceptions. Like Jim Morrison was a very good-looking guy, very talented.
Yeah. Like Meatloaf.
Not good looking.
Not by standard, not by traditional standards.
But
like
talented.
if he was going to be like a role, or a role model. My God, a model.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then again, I'm trying to think of something like Mama Cass.
Great voice.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Super talented. Not a very good ham sandwich eater.
I mean, dude, even the Allman Brothers are not the best looking dudes, Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner, yeah.
They're awesome.
Ted Nugent.
The Eagles weren't that good looking. But with the talent, but when you mix it with talent.
Joe Walsh definitely is not a good looking dude, but he's my favorite guy in the
he's
Eagles.
the greatest.
Yeah.
No, I mean, okay, maybe Glenn Fry wasn't a bad looking guy, right? But but that wasn't a prerequisite. Do you write good songs? That's what mattered to the music industry.
Yeah, sure.
Now it's, Does she look like a
The most
hooker?
important thing is, they look good.
So again, there are some. Oh, sorry, I'm breaking your equipment. There are some exceptions. I mean, when Adele first made it huge, she was overweight.
Yep.
She was open about like struggling with her. Lizzo is a very big woman.
Right.
She's gorgeous, but like she's not like a stereotypical what the society would think is like.
But is she good?
Oh yeah, I mean, she, in terms of
Adele can sing.
No, Adele's great. But is Lizzo any good, or is it just like I'm fat? Look at me play a crystal flute.
No, I mean, I think she has some like she has some like really big hits. I mean, before the crystal flute thing.
Okay, but hits do not mean you're good.
Fair enough.
There's a lot of big hits that are just like. Do you ever see that? I know you haven't seen it, but there's a South Park episode where the kids. So they listen to this really crappy music, like modern music, right? And the adults, all they hear is like shit, right? Yeah. And then the kids, so they're like, kids, you got to listen to real music. And then they put the Police on, and then the kids just hear. So you hear dun 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 dun, and then when Sting's supposed to start singing, you just hear. Because the kids hear it as shit, right? And it's just like a generational thing.
Another one's I just saw. I don't know if this is what he was trying to say, but Joe Cocker is another one who is not an attractive guy.
No, great voice.
Of an angel.
And he did this stuff when he sang.
Crazy.
Yeah,
dude, it almost makes you like him more, though. Like
because he felt it. Like so, music used to be a thing that you felt, and you would go to a show and you would feel. The audience and the band would commune, man, and you'd get off on the same energy, man, and all that other stuff. I don't know what the hell it is today. Hey, you've seen these like EDM, electronic dance music concerts, and it's like a stadium full of like 20,000 people and a guy with a laptop on a stage. Yeah. A guy with a laptop on a stage is bringing in millions of dollars, pressing buttons, and I was like, what? And then
A lot of it's not even their own music. It's they're copying like songs that had been hits and stuff, and they're putting their own little
but my question to the audience is, where is the soul in this music? Like, what are you connecting with? I don't get it. I didn't get it when I was 17. I didn't get anything current when I was 17. Oh. Like, I think I have this thing where it has.
I've been the same way since I was young too.
Yeah, like I have to like have a lot of time pass for me to get into it, and then it becomes maybe I think it's like nostalgia. Then it's like, oh, or this reminds me of high school and the good old days, And so now I like grunge and all that stuff, but I didn't like it at the time.
There are some now.
I
there
like
are
Pearl
some
Jam.
artists out right now, and this is getting into a different genre than like rock and pop. But there are some artists.
Don't
right now
start saying genre again.
Genre that really, I guess, give hope to the soul and music is not lost. There's this guy named Coulter Wall. He's a country singer.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to go see him live, and that dude is unbelievable. He's about 5 foot nothing, but he's got this super deep voice, and it's unbelievable how good the guy is.
There are some things that I'll see on YouTube, young musicians doing covers of songs or whatever, and they're doing them very well, and they're good musicians. So there are some things that give me hope that, good music still can exist. But, I mean, it's not going to get radio play, but I don't listen to the radio anyway. Yeah. That's the thing, is you can listen to whatever you want now. Right. What a great time to be alive. It's the best of times, and it's the worst of times.
Like my music streaming, I think I use YouTube Music now because it was cheaper than Amazon Prime or something. But it kind of, you pigeonhole yourself a little bit. Like, you like what songs you want to listen to, and then it kind of like just puts you in those. Because I listen to classic rock, and that's about it.
Me too.
So that's all. I'm not getting any of the new stuff. I'm certainly not getting rap or country or anything like that.
But once in a while, something will happen. You know what? A couple months ago, I don't remember where the hell I was, but I was walking around. I was in like Walmart or Target or something. And the music they had was a song that came out in the early 90s, maybe late 80s, called Deeper Shade of Soul. And I forget who did it. And it was like, they sampled some old song that I think was called The Deeper Shade of Soul. But it was, who the hell was the name of the band? I don't remember who it was, but I found it on YouTube and added it to my, so I have a playlist of songs. It's got like 500 songs in it. And every time I think of one, I'm like, oh, that's a good one. And I'll go find it and then add it to my playlist. Do you remember this song?
I know. The only thing I can think of is Procol Harlem.
Procol Harum?
Whatever it was.
That was Whiter Shade of Pale.
Thank you. There we go.
A Whiter Shade of Pale, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
That's a great song.
Yeah.
But I think that's based off of a classical piece. And that's the other thing. Like Billy Joel had a song called This Night on his Innocent Man album, right? Mm-hmm. And the refrain, the hook, so the verses are like a doo-wop song. It's got a doo-wop chord progression. It's got that feel. And then it breaks into the chorus, and it's Beethoven. And he just put words to the melody of Beethoven's Pathétique, I think it's called. And but it's beautiful. It's it's just stealing Beethoven shit. But no, I doubt anyone would do that today.
No,
because everything's done in a computer. There's a guy that I watch. You might actually like this because you're a music person. There's a guy on YouTube named Rick Beato. Okay. And he's a music producer. He produced a lot of stuff in the 90s and everything. And now he kind of just teaches people about music and recording techniques and music theory and stuff. So some of it might not be your cup of tea, but he does this thing that's called What Makes This Song Great. And he somehow gets all the individual tracks so he can like pull down everything and just play the bass or whatever. And he'll tell you what they're doing and why it's so cool and everything, and how it all works together.
That's pretty neat.
It is pretty good. And now he's gotten pretty big, and he's like interviewing people now. And he did an interview with Christopher Cross a couple of weeks ago or a month ago.
Salem.
Yeah. And that got me thinking, yeah, exactly. That got me going, oh my God, I forgot this guy's got some pretty good yacht rock songs.
Yeah.
And so I put Sailing on my list and Ride Like the Wind and Arthur's Theme.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. So I told you about Pete Carmichael coming out on the 16th. I had a very encouraging meeting. I'm not going to give you the details because it's not set in stone yet. But I had a very encouraging meeting with Jason Martz from the Park Service and Chris Gwynn. Their offices right next to each other, so I killed two birds with one stone. Had a meeting with Jason planned.
Stood in the doorway and talked.
I just stood and I just leaned over and then, yeah. It's literally how it is. Like they have just a wall separating their doors. But no, I had a meeting with them. Very interesting, exciting things that most likely are going to happen. But we just have to make sure everything works. So I don't want to say what it is because then if it doesn't happen, then it's embarrassing. But I just had a great meeting with them, and I would like to thank them both for reaching out to me and requesting these meetings.
Well, maybe we can ask our listeners to say a little prayer. Or send
say a little
wish
prayer
up
for
to
me.
Whatever you believe. Yeah. I hope things pan out. So.
Speaking of that, we could also ask the listeners to just give us suggestions on the first 5 movies that we should review battle scenes in.
Yes. So Colby and I were talking last week about doing a little joint thing where addressing Gettysburg and America Fog of War kind of, team together. And we do, everybody's doing reaction videos now, right? And it's fine, but everybody's doing it as a historian. Mm-hmm. And I always say, I'm not a historian, I'm an idiot. And then Colby, though, is a is a.
I don't have my own sound effects.
You should. We'll get you one. Colby is a combat vet, so we're going to do reaction videos of battle scenes. As me, the every guy, talking with Colby, the combat vet, and asking him questions based on what we're watching and everything like that. So that'll be our little twist on it. That'll set us apart from everybody doing from the historian's perspective.
Right. I almost want to see you give like an answer like this is a realistic battle scene,
and then you go, no, it's not,
and then see if it lines up with what what I think.
Yeah. So, that would be a great thing to do. Suggest, write it in the comments now. Give us your top 5 war movies you want us to start with.
Except don't put Saving Private Ryan. That one's a obvious one, obviously, that it's known for its realism. And
yeah, and we're going to do Gettysburg. And what was the other one we were talking about?
Well, there's a bunch. There's endless amounts.
But we're definitely going to do Gettysburg. We're definitely going to do Private Ryan. We'll definitely do Band of Brothers. So find something else. Other suggestions. Oh, we'll definitely do Glory as well. All right, and then so when the movie anniversary is coming up.
Oh yeah.
And thank God I got an email from Andrew over at the Adams County Historical Society, and he invited me to do a panel with Bo Brinkman and Joseph Fuqua on Saturday morning at 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. excuse me, at 9 in the morning on Saturday of that weekend. I don't know if it's on. I don't know if they have their schedule up yet or anything.
They released stuff yesterday, as a matter of fact, on social media, kind of like a blitz of what the Adams County Historical Society is doing specifically.
Right.
It caused a little bit of confusion on social media because remember the festival packages have already pretty much been out. And
right.
sold
This is
out.
a different thing.
It's a lot different.
Yes.
And people were like, "Wait a minute, there's supposed to be a panel and a movie at the same time," and like I think somebody came on from the Adams County Historical Society. And they're like, "Well, that's." Sorry for the confusion, but there's all kinds of different, like Dobbin House is having things, Farnsworth House is having things. These are our things that we're presenting. It's not the Majestic. It's not, so everything's.
I was having this conversation with somebody the other day,
all over the place.
and we were lamenting the fact that there isn't someone who pulls all these different people together and says, "Listen, anniversary weekend. Very busy. Everybody wants to do something. Everyone should do something. Yeah. How about we all coordinate so that people, because it'd be easier for everybody. It'd be easier for you, the host, the venue, whatever, because you don't have to have a full schedule of stuff. It'll be easier, especially for the guests, the visitors. I mean, because they might want. I've heard a lot from people saying, "Well, on Saturday I went to this at the blank."
Yeah.
But I was torn between going to that or going to this at the
other blank.
Other blank, right? But I ended up deciding on this, and like they wanted to see both. Yeah. So why not coordinate a bit and everything? Yeah. But we answered that the answer for that would be egos. Nobody would want to work together. Everybody has to make their own money too. Right. So you fill the day.
And the other devil's advocate argument is you're not having a full day of programming at each of the locations. If you agree to just do, for example, and this I'm not using names specifically, but like Seminary Ridge does the morning, Adams County Historical Society does a lunch program, the Visitor Center does an evening program. Then it's like 3 things rather than 10 things, 10 things, 10 things. You know what I mean? Like they all have their full day slate.
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty difficult.
It would be difficult because everybody would have to come to the table wanting to do this, and everybody would have to come to the table thinking that there's a problem.
Right.
That needs a solution, and I don't think everybody does.
What if there were 5 options at 1 o'clock, for example? People have different tastes, and if there's only one, because everybody agreed on, well, at 1 o'clock we're only going to do Matt Calorie, whatever. Maybe not everybody's into Matt Calorie, so maybe then they don't. I know, hard to believe, but they don't have anything to do, or they, they.
And their name is Veronica.
Right, Veronica would be at something else. She's like, "Oh well, Matt's doing something now. Let's just go to lunch and take a nap because the 3 o'clock thing is what I really want to do." Well, no, I mean,
I understand what you're saying. There's different. Yeah,
we were just talking. It's never going to happen. But Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. I was really excited about that. First of all, I was having major FOMO because I knew things were in the works, but I wasn't hearing anything that would include me. And I was like, not to toot my own horn or anything, but like I was interviewing these guys long before you people with the $1 million budgets were.
Yeah.
So like, and but no. Luckily, my name was being bandied about. They just hadn't planned anything. So I heard from Andrew, and I was very excited about this because I'm friends with Joe and Bo.
Yeah.
Joe and Bo, Bo and Joe.
Is Bo in town?
Not yet. A couple weeks.
When he gets in town, let me know because I would like to. I feel like I haven't seen him in forever, man.
Yeah, about like 6 months.
Oh, be warned. Colby wants to see you. I know that sounds so ominous. Yes,
I know. Yeah, tell him to see me when he gets here. Tell him I need to talk to him.
Keep Bo locked up.
So we've gotten some suggestions here. I don't know if you saw that, Matt.
Wait, I haven't looked over. Let's see. What do you got? Go ahead. Give me one.
It looks like we got A Bridge Too Far. Passchendaele, Generation Kill. I have seen Generation Kill. I would do a reaction to that for sure. Wicked Spring. David, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. David Heisel.
Yeah, I think so.
Would like to see me review the combat scene in Forrest Gump. So I'm not going to do a full review here, but I appreciate him asking that. To me, that's one of the most overlooked battle scenes.
That is a good one, yeah.
And I'll tell you the reason why. There's one thing that scene gets better than any other combat scene in any other movie that I've ever seen.
When you get shot in the butt, you think something bit you.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Not always does that happen. The thing that stands out to me is you never see the NVA.
Right.
And that is the most realistic aspect of that scene. Actually, if I were gonna, put that up against other movies, I would almost say that one is the most realistic, because very rarely, if you get ambushed like that, like they do you actually see the enemy? You might see muzzle flashes. You might have a general idea of the direction and distance that it's coming from. But you hardly ever see him, and it also does a very good job of making it super scary. That feeling like you don't want to pick your head up because you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, and that you just got me thinking. We Were Soldiers definitely has to be one of them. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Have you seen that one, Ronnie, with Mel Gibson about Vietnam?
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
It's about the first major.
About Hal Moore.
It's about the first major action in Vietnam.
Yeah. What is it? The Ai Drang Valley.
Yeah, Ai Drang Valley. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, he plays Colonel Hal Moore. One of the renamed forts is going to be named after Hal and Julia Moore.
I can't believe they didn't rename the Fort Hood down in Texas Benavidez. It blows my mind. Roy Benavidez.
Who did they name it after?
I don't know. Some. I mean, I don't want to belittle the guy's career.
What are you gonna say?
But it's a
schmuck.
It's a general. It's a general that doesn't really have any combat. He doesn't have any combat notoriety, which you don't have to have.
Well, he must have done something.
I think he was the first African American general.
Odie. Wait. Does his name begin with an O?
I don't know.
I'm military base you're talking about?
Fort Hood. What was Fort Hood down in Texas? But you have a few guys that are just. Audie Murphy is from Texas. He's recognized as the most decorated American soldier in history. And then Roy Benavidez is like a real. That's what they based Rambo off of. Is his action in Vietnam.
All right.
And we did an episode that covered Roy Benavidez, and he's in an organization called MACVSOG, and they did a lot of operations cross border into Laos and Cambodia.
David Heisel agrees with you. Says it should have been Benavidez.
If you know the guy's story, you would not doubt it. A bright light mission comes in, and a bright light mission is a rescue mission for MACVSOG, and so there's this unit of like South Vietnamese troops, and then a few Americans are surrounded by this enormous NVA force, and he's the only one on the base that can go, so he volunteers, the only man to volunteer on the base, and he leaves so quick. He doesn't take an M16. The only thing he takes is a knife and a med bag. Hops off the helicopter when he gets there. He gets wounded something like, dude, I think he has like 37 holes in his body by the end of it. It's a 4 or 5 hour engagement, and saves the lives of countless dudes. He ends up killing, numerous NVA with his knife, and he gets stabbed by a bayonet, takes the bayonet out, stabs another guy. He's so jacked up by the end of this thing that they think he's dead, and they put him in a body bag. They get the body bag back to the base and unzip it to make sure, and the doctor is checking him, and he's like, yeah, this guy's dead. He can't even talk. The only thing he could do is spit in the doctor's face to let him know that he wasn't.
Oh my God.
So it kind of blows my mind that they didn't rename the base.
Well, because
it's renamed after General Richard Cavazos. He's actually not an African American. He's the first Latino four-star general. He was born in Texas.
Okay. I knew it had something to do, like, I not to belittle race things here in the country or anything. I knew it had something to do with like that, but Roy Benavidez is of Latino descent as well,
and he's a badass.
And his story is incredible.
Jesus, that's a crazy story.
Incredible.
Mitchell Randall says we should review the battle scenes in Tropic Thunder. Survive!
I'm the dude disguised as a dude playing another dude. That movie is hysterical.
It really is the last great comedy ever made.
I mean, dude, the balls it took to be Robert Downey Jr. in that.
I know.
There's no way you could get away with that now. There
was no way you could get away with it then. Let's not forget, it wasn't very long ago. You couldn't get away with that.
Have you ever seen Jamie Foxx talking about him?
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, he was trying to convince Robert Downey Jr. to do the role.
Yeah, of course. All right, let's see here. Barry Manilow used a classical, but yes, Chopin's something in C minor for the song Could It Be Magic? See, Mom, if you're watching, making me listen to Barry Manilow all those times in the car have paid off. Finally.
Are we still making a small list of songs?
Well, it looks like we've got lists of songs, and I was just going back in the comments here. Dance with Wolves. Okay, this is a joke. This got to be a joke.
When Kevin Costner's
Because that's
riding
the worst freaking battle scene ever.
Arms with arms wide open.
He's Scott Stapp. A Bridge Too Far. Okay, Passchendaele, Generation Kill, Wicked Spring. On a serious note, I'd like to hear Colby. Okay, we did that. Forrest Gump. 1864 was a foreign TV series, war between Denmark and Prussia. That's interesting. There's that one. What is that one that it's something with the Russians and they're all in the square and the army opens fire with canister.
That's actually the new movie coming out about Napoleon.
No. This is years old.
Oh! I do know what you're
yeah,
talking
you do.
about.
We've seen it. We watched it
I don't
before.
know the name of that movie, but have you seen the previews?
Yes,
of the new Napoleon
I'm
movie?
very much looking forward to that one.
Anything that Joaquin Phoenix is in, I'm like.
Yeah,
I'm
you have
jazzed
posters
about.
of him on your bathroom wall.
All over the place.
I
Even
know.
on the mirror.
Even in the mirror.
Like looks like he's standing next to me.
So strange. Yes.
Well, after that Joker movie, he might be the best actor in the world right now.
Cameron B says, "Yep, my last name is Ruthel, and it's pronounced Wraithley. So yeah, OE is pronounced AY for some reason. So I guess okay." We Were Soldiers. Somebody said that. Stalingrad, the 2011-ish version. Enemy at the Gates is a good one.
That's a great one.
What about a place that lists all the activities and you can go through them? Seems like it would be less confusing to the public. Yeah, that would be good too. I was actually thinking of doing that on our website, and I might. Okay. What's that?
The problem is there's just so many different locations. I mean,
There are.
that are unrelated.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of them are actually competitors, right? Different restaurants are hosting different things. I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
just,
why-
nobody's
that's
gonna
why-
come together and be like, hey, go to my competitor down the street if you want to see
Right.
this guy, but I'm hosting somebody else. Nobody's gonna.
But then if we went and compiled everything and linked to everything, and then we said, and that would be good for us, and because I would like it if Dressing Gettysburg could be kind of a peacemaker between all the different entities, and we do things together, and everybody understands that we're showing you off to the world. That Russian film is impossible to find, Peter says. Potemkin, that's another one. Waterloo, 1970, that's a good one. Barry Lyndon.
Your mom was clapping.
My mom was clapping because the Barry Manilow torture paid off. I think it's like Chopin's Nocturne in C minor or something like that. It's a beautiful song, but then Barry ruins it. No, Barry did a great job with that. What am I talking about? All right, so what else did I want to do? All right, you know what? That's it. That's all the announcements there. Do we have any other calls? No, nobody called. Oh, we had a guy in the... David, call back if you want to for the next one. Actually, it makes sense for the next one because the next segment is the news. Anything you wanted to add, Ronnie?
No, I mean, well, are you gonna? Just a reminder. This isn't necessarily news or events, but the book club.
Yeah.
The book club and the film.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, and it's right here on my list, and I just didn't see it. We had our first film club on Tuesday, September 5th, I believe.
Did you guys all get together to watch?
No. So this is the beauty of it. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join the film club, so we have a book club led by Steve Byers, who does a fantastic job with that. And everybody loves Steve, and I love Steve, and he just does such a great job, and it's such a help to the whole operation that he does it. And we talked about this before. He and Casey Turbin were talking about, hey, why not do a film club too? So Casey spearheaded that, and what a fantastic job he did for the first one. We did Glory, and here's how it works, Colby. You pick a movie. Well, not you pick a movie. The group picks a movie, and then you have a month to watch it, and then we have film club, and we talk about it. And just like with the book club, Casey has questions, and then we go around and answer the questions. And I loved it because I would love to do the book club too. A problem I have is reading. I never learned how to read.
Yeah.
I have
come back
when
to
I
bite
read things out loud, I have somebody actually in my earphone here reading it to me, and I just repeat it. But no, it's just the time to read books, like because I have to read chapters of books. See, sometimes I interview 3 authors a week, and I'd say give me a chapter to read, and that's what we'll do. And it's hard enough for me to take the time to sit and read 3 chapters and take notes. So I can't do a book, but a movie I can do. over a month. So I hope to be able to do that more. Plus, movies are my wheelhouse. I love movies.
God, me too, man.
Ronnie, what are you saying?
I'm not saying it. I know we voted again because there was a tie.
Yes, there was a tie between Gangs of New York and
Ooh, that's a good one.
And Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Is this
for the next movie?
For the next one.
Did he say? I thought I saw yesterday real quickly. There was an email.
Yeah.
I can't find it. I don't think I must.
Well, I can forward it to you because I voted.
No, I voted too, but I thought he. I'm saying, did he announce the next movie yet?
Oh, I didn't see.
Oh, maybe
I don't know.
Maybe I just okay. I thought there was an email, but now I can't find it.
But that's the thing is it's.
Let's talk about Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York.
Well, hold on. Before we get into him, we did Glory, and I just it's been a while since I've watched Glory, and
Did it get you?
Oh, just every time I watch it, it's such a great movie. There are some tear-jerking parts there, and it was funny because when we were talking about Trip, the character Denzel Washington plays, and when he's getting whipped.
Man, that scene.
Well, that's what Beth Bonacci was saying, that she can't watch it, and I was like, oh, good. I'm not
like
the only one because I always have to skip that scene.
I can't skip it. I feel like I'm doing a disservice to that part of the history if I don't.
Well, let me maybe help you a little bit here. By that point, the army wasn't whipping people.
No, but it's symbolizing a lot more.
I know. It does. It absolutely does.
Dude, that is one of the most incredible pieces of acting in the history of cinema.
Well, it's all done with expressions. There's no words.
No, and
it's all look.
You can watch that tear well up.
Yes.
It gets all heavy before it comes down, and he, I don't know how he does it, but he waits for an impact for it to for him to blink it out. Yeah,
it's Denzel Washington. That's why he's Denzel Washington, and you're not, Colby.
I mean, come on. It's like I feel like there's only a handful of scenes ever done that are probably comparable. Tom Hanks at the end of Captain Phillips.
Never saw it.
Bro, you've never seen the end of that movie?
It scares
me. You could
me.
look it up on YouTube and just watch the last scene in that movie.
But it won't be as impactful because I haven't seen the whole movie.
Oh, it will. It will.
Really?
It will.
Have you seen it, Ron?
Unbelievable.
I have. I don't remember because I don't.
When he comes on to when he finally gets rescued and he's on the naval ship and he's in that the Navy corpsman is trying to treat him and he's going into shock.
Yeah.
It is, dude. It's unbelievable, and especially having seen people go into shock. I don't know how he did it so realistically. I saw a thing because the corpsman corpsman in that scene is an actual Navy corpsman. She was in the Navy.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview with her, and she said the first time Tom Hanks, they had to film that scene twice because the first time Tom Hanks did it, she couldn't do her job. She couldn't talk. She was caught off guard by how real it is. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Well, Tom Hanks, everybody loves Tom Hanks.
Put him in the cell with a long hose on him. Put him in the cell with a long hose on him.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. But anyway, Film Club was great. If you haven't signed up for it, I'm telling you, you'll have a lot of fun. Same thing with the book club. I'll give you the email addresses for both. It's Addressing Gettysburg Book Club, really long one, @gmail.com. And then we got a little smarter for the film club, and we abbreviated it. It's AG Film Club 1863, because AG Film Club is already taken, @gmail.com. Write in, join, sign up. And for the book club, Ronnie, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't actually have to keep up with the book, right? You can just lurk and listen.
Candidly, you don't have to keep up with the film club either. You can just lurk and listen. Nobody's going to force you to talk.
That's true.
Yeah, so and there were a lot of participants that didn't talk. So
a lot of lurkers.
Feel free, even if you're behind or you don't get a chance to watch it or whatever, or, read it or whatever. Come on, join us.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a break then and come back with Ronnie's news. Everybody loves it. And your phone calls if you want to call in, and we'll take that first. So go ahead. Dial the number on the screen, 717-420-1978. We'll be right back.
Been craving a Hot Pocket or a bag of popcorn? Now's the time to go and get it. You got 5 to 8 minutes, so don't be late. We'll be right back.
Minstrel boy to war has gone in the ranks of death. You will find him. His father's sword he hath girded on, and his wild harp slung behind him.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center
Gettysburg's premier museum is housed in the historic Lutheran Seminary building constructed in 1832, a witness to the first day of battle. The museum's 3 floors of exhibits connect visitors to the dilemmas that led to the Civil War, provide a powerful and personal view of the battle's first day, and explore one of the battlefield's largest hospitals. No visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center is complete without a guided tour of the building's famous cupola, where on the eve of battle, officers and civilians saw thousands of Confederate soldiers' campfires burning to the west, and Brigadier General John Buford watched for vital federal reinforcements as fighting erupted on the morning of July 1st. Today, you can stand where Buford stood and discover how this view helped chart the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. Your trip to Gettysburg is not complete without a serious visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum. Purchase tickets online at seminaryridgemuseum.org or call 717-339-1300.
To get tickets or a cupola tour, listeners may call or walk in and mention addressing Gettysburg, or by ordering online using the promo code AG1863 for 20% off.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. It began here.
There's a devil to pay.
If you're a lover of history, then go to trhistorical.com. There you'll find apparel, drinkware, decor, and more featuring a wide range of interests from the ancient world to the Cold War. Looking to make an impression with the perfect gift? Well, TR Historical now offers gift cards and a vintage wrapping service for a truly unique presentation. And our listeners will receive 10% off plus free shipping in the U.S. when you use promo code GBERG1863. So go to trhistorical.com, TR Historical, for the love of history.
Think outside the bus and let family-owned Gettysburg Tours take you on a cycling journey across the picturesque and historic Gettysburg battlefield. There's no better way than by bicycle to gain a feel for the terrain of the battlefield. Slow enough to see it all, yet fast enough to do it all. Follow the route of Union troops entering the fray as you ride to the site of the first shots of this epic 3-day battle. Feel the drama as you put yourself in the position of a Confederate soldier just before he steps off to make Pickett's charge. Take a stand with the heroic Colonel Chamberlain on the slopes of Little Round Top, just before you view the fields of honor beneath you from its summit. All of our guides are officially licensed by the National Park Service. So don't get a sore neck trying to see out of your car, and saddle up with Gettysburg Tours for a 360-degree view of America's most important piece of real estate. Gettysburg Tours. Think outside the bus. Go to gettysburg.com or call 717-752-7752 to book a battlefield experience you will never forget.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Have you noticed our revamped website at addressinggettysburg.com? Well, that's the fine work of a man named Mike Stretch, and he also redid our logo for us. Both of them I originally designed, and both of them were originally horrible, but now they're nice, and that's all thanks to Mike. Mike has an awesome t-shirt company called Heritage Depot. There you'll find great designs based on Gettysburg and the Civil War with t-shirts and other types of merchandise. So go to heritage-depot.com and spruce up your Gettys Nerd wardrobe. That's heritage-depot.com. Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used, and online they have even more to choose from. And if the Civil War isn't your thing, that's not a problem. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books. It's astounding how many thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more they have in their store. And that's because, well, they have a warehouse too. And that's where they keep all the books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs. And if you prefer to stop by when you're in town, well, you could do that too. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com or stop by 42 York Street, or you can call them at 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Seems like we haven't seen you in forever. Welcome back to Addressing Gettysburg Today. Here's Matt.
Yeah. All right. I'm back. Dave, you're on the air.
Yes. Hi. Is this Addressing Gettysburg customer service?
Yes, it is. Gettysburg. Hold on a second. Let me just patch you through.
Customer service?
Please, I need help immediately.
Oh, yes. How can I help you?
Okay. Hi. So I just have some issues with my last trip to Gettysburg and the whole subscription thing.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the deal. First of all, I was told about this great buffet over near, Pickett's Charge or whatever, and it's gone. And I'm very upset about it. Secondly,
okay, go ahead.
I canceled my actual cable company at home to get news from Veronica, and all she talks about is Gettysburg. And honestly, that's it. And you know what? For $5 a month, I demand a lot more than this.
We all do.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry to hear you're not happy with your service, Mr. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. David?
David Heisel. We've talked before.
David Heisel, yes, okay. I'm so sorry to hear that you're not happy with things. Here's what we can do. We can let you take Veronica out to dinner one night, and you can complain to her over drinks and crab legs.
Actually, I'm not allowed to drink anymore. I was actually going to ask Veronica. I'm seeking legal counsel currently.
Something that happened here in Gettysburg?
Yeah. Is it Pennsylvania or Maryland?
What was that, Dave?
I said no. It's in Maryland. I hope that's not a problem.
Oh, I'm so sorry. She can't do it. She can't do
You
it.
get a real lawyer down there.
Yeah, Pickett's Buffet is. I guess, are they closed? Pickett's Buffet? Yeah, they're closed.
They're supposed to. So it was advertised that they're going to reopen at the old Boyd's School.
Right.
The
Boyd's
Bear off of whatever road that is down there. But it said summer of 2023. So that's the last I heard. It's still not open as far as I know. So I don't know what's going on with it.
Okay. All right. Well, what else, Dave? Anything else?
No, that was it. I just wanted. I had never called in before, and so I was like, I'm going to this opportunity to be ridiculous.
Yeah, good. No, that's good.
So.
Actually, Dave, you made the listener email because you sent me a very nice email yesterday after the live show, and I thought it was nice, and I was going to share it with everybody. If you don't mind, do you mind?
Not at all. Just don't share the one I sent when I was pissed off that I didn't get to listen to.
So, Dave, okay, can I tell that? Can I tell that story though?
Yeah, I honestly, can you tell I don't embarrass easily?
Well, so the story Dave's referring to, and this is actually, excuse me, this is actually a good story to tell because I do get not emails like the one Dave sent, but I do get emails indicating that people are not exactly sure how Patreon works, even though. So Dave sent this email, and I can't pull it up now, Dave, because it's been so long. Otherwise I would, but you said don't read it. But it was basically, which actually you probably would rather me read it because from going off of memory, it might be worse than it actually was. Yeah. But it was basically like, I'm done with this show. Too much Cameron, too much, this, and where's the history, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe it wasn't where's the history, but it was,
You read this. You read this a couple weeks ago when I was on last.
This is a different one.
Oops.
No, it is. That was Jon Stewart who did that, and that's the Daily Show's Jon Stewart, by the way. No, because. And this is why I'm bringing this up is because this is a common misunderstanding that people have, okay? So Dave's big thing was, I canceled 4 months ago, and then I said, well, let me come back, and I came back, and then I canceled again, and then you put out a preview, and I really wanted to hear it, so I joined, and it's not available at my tier, right? And so I'm done. Am I getting it right, Dave?
Yeah, pretty much. I think I think that's about the gist. Yeah, I didn't hear any vulgarity though.
Well, there was a lot of vulgarity, and there was, you suck, you hack, type stuff like that. And then, so I wrote back, golly jeepers, me oh my, I'm sorry, but I think there's a misunderstanding here somewhere. Simply joining doesn't get you access to everything, right? And I said, and I could see what level he's at. I said, you're at the $5 level. The episode you're talking about was available on the off week. So every other week, the $15 level and above gets every episode every week. They get whatever comes out. $5, they get 2 uploads a week or a month, excuse me. And so how do I figure out which gets what? I go by which week it is. If it's the first week, everybody gets an episode. If it's the second week, the 15 and above get an episode. Third week, everybody, et cetera, right? And it's just luck of the draw. Whatever I edit and upload, then that's it. And whatever week it falls on, pluff. And so it was obvious to me through the anger, through the cursing, through the frothing at the mouth that I was reading there, that Dave just misunderstood how it worked. And so I said, I think you misunderstand it. And I explained it to him. And then he came back very apologetic. And then I believe offered to buy me a beer. Because I know Dave. Like, we've met each other. We've had beers or something at the Farnsworth House when Tim Smith does his lectures. Oh, cool. And so that's why I was very surprised at the... how would you describe it? The hatred. Yeah, the pure hatred. Yeah. What, Dave?
Playful vitriol.
Vitriol. That was the word I was looking for. Vitriol, yeah. And then, but he came back just like Jon Stewart did. As soon as I answered me back, and they were like, I'm really sorry. I feel like an asshole, whatever. And that was the intended response. That's why I keep a calm tone, because I recognize that, people don't really mean to be that way, but they might be having a bad day, and I'm not going to respond in kind, because then who loses that, right? I don't win by responding in kind. I lose, so I have to keep it cool and professional. So anyway, but Dave's okay now, right, Dave?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's just from Dave. I'll let you know via email when it's not okay.
Good. Well, thank you, Dave. I appreciate that, and I hope it got just as much gusto as that last one. Not the last one this week, but the one we're talking about.
No, but seriously, I've always felt really bad about that because I genuinely appreciate everything you guys do, and I think that you've got a really great thing going on, and I just hope you guys keep it up.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. And we'll see you. We'll definitely see you at Tim Smith's lectures, but perhaps we'll see you beforehand. Like I said in the response to your last email, anytime you're up, let me know, and we'll get together if we can. Okay.
The last thing I'll say is so I like don't go up there during the summer because I genuinely don't like being around tons of people. But like I go up there fall and winter, and I made the mistake. I was like, no, I'm gonna go up there like during the anniversary sort of time, and it was freaking bike week, and I was trying to tour the first day's battlefield, and I couldn't hear myself think.
Yeah.
And so I just went and bought books.
Did you go to For the Historian and mention addressing Gettysburg for a 20% discount?
60% if you purchase in person, or I'm not a good advertiser. I'll shut up.
No, that was good.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Keep going.
Or free shipping if you want to order online, right?
Free shipping, yeah.
Anyway, you guys keep it up, and I will try to. I still need to get up there for a like in-person battlefield walk.
Yes. Yes, you do. Come up for one of the Get Out of the Car tours. And don't worry about there being a lot of people. It's been dead all summer, so there's not a lot of people like it used to be. I think you'll be okay. It's kind of scary.
That's part of my complaint. How dare you close Little Round Top? My family and I drove all the way up from Baltimore and didn't get to see Little Round Top.
All the way from Baltimore. I know. I'm sorry, you're breaking up there, Dave.
I said it was an hour and a half of misery in the car with my family. I don't have time with them.
Right. Nobody does. All right, Dave, thank you very much for participating in the show today with the phone call. We'll talk to you next time. All right, take care.
Yeah, you guys
take care.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So Dave's email, let's see. He said, I feel like you might be getting burned out or having a hard time. Hang in there, dude. A lot of people, including me, really appreciate what you do and the effort you put in. If it helps you feel any better, I can listen to AG while I'm at work. I effing hate my job right now. And AG has gotten me through the day on more than one occasion. One of the weirdest things about your podcast is that I sort of think of you as a friend, even though we've only met a few times. I've sort of stopped trying to do it now, but I used to be like, hey, I'm going up to Gettysburg and I should hit up Matt. And then I realized it must be really stressful for you to meet fans. I wouldn't call them fans, but okay. Anytime you come up or have them trying to hang out with you all the time. So I don't do it anymore. You created a community and you are the center of it. Honestly, that sounds effing exhausting because you're never off. It's just true. Hang in there, bud. I'm looking forward to seeing you sometime, hopefully soon. That 15 minutes or so we spent outside Sweeney's Tavern talking about music was pretty cool because I realized you're actually interested in a lot more than Gettysburg. We all love Gettysburg, but I've already gotten burned out on it, and I don't run a podcast about it. I still love it, but I had to set the Civil War aside for a while because it's super effing depressing. So that's Dave there. I have a couple of other listening emails. We'll just get them out of the way here for you before we go to the news, because that's everybody's favorite. Sean Fallon says, okay, fell out and rejoined. Had lots of problems getting content on Patreon. I would get some, miss others, but even have Sudio on some. I don't know. I don't know what he's saying there. I switched cell carriers and the problem was solved. Back full time. Thanks. So sometimes people say like they have a hard time listening to the show on their phone. And I didn't even think of this. So he switched carriers. I don't know if you need to switch carriers, but you might just need to get a new phone sometimes. Some people hold on to phones way too long. I see some people with these tiny little iPhones. I'm like, what is that? And they're like, oh, it's an iPhone 3. I'm like, can you still use those? Like, so a lot of things don't work on older phones. And sometimes you just need to update the app. But I will tell you this, the Patreon app is not my favorite. There are ways that and I put a post up the other day where there are ways that you can go and use the RSS feed that you get when you sign up for Addressing Gettysburg on Patreon. You can put that in the Apple Podcast app, or you can put it in, I think Spotify. You can do it, and there's other platforms. I would Google whatever platform you like to use the most. Say, connecting Patreon to, and see what it says, and then do it. Heather says, I found your podcast searching for podcasts about Gettysburg. I became a patron because I wanted to support what you do, and I got hooked on some episodes that I couldn't hear the whole thing because unless I became a patron, LOL. So that's Heather. Thank you for becoming a patron nonetheless, Heather. And I'm glad to see that my diabolical plan works by putting up only 15 minutes of the show. All right. I'll give you one more, and then I'll save these other ones for later. Gerald says, I found you by accident on YouTube. You came when I was searching for Gettysburg. What made me become a Patreon member was several things. The topic about chaplains in the Civil War, your morning and sometimes evening drives that I do live on YouTube, not talking about the political situation. I need a break. Is there a listing? Oh, and then he asked if there's a listing by month or year of podcasts. To answer that question, there is not. We do have a spreadsheet that Dave is compiling of all the shows. Oh, wow. And we've had people along the way start and continue or whatever, but they all fall by the wayside eventually. And so Dave's been building on that, and then every time we book something and stuff. So I think eventually we're going to put like a directory up, but not anything anytime soon, because even though I have Dave's help, I'm still only one man, and 73 hats is a hat too far.
I see what you did there.
Okay, just made a face at the camera. Too bad we don't have a zoom lens. All right, let's see. So yeah, so that's about it there. And wait, I have one. I'm sorry, I have one more that just came in earlier, and this falls in the category of hate mail.
I hate you guys! If you could see the look on my face, you would know that I hate you.
Blah, blah, blah. Everything is wrong.
Hi, this is Bo Brinkman.
Shut up, please. Stop ruining history.
It's time for Addressing Gettysburg's Hate Mail, where we share what some of the most feeble-minded people on the planet dare to say online.
I hate you guys. Goodbye.
This one here, this one is nice because it sort of has to do with me, but not really, okay?
It better not be about me.
It's not directly about you.
No. Don't you read that.
That's it, dude. I'm done with you. I've been noticing in the last year or so that there's too much, here's my favorite part, estrogen. ESPROGEN. And I think he means to write seeping, but it's SPPEING. So clearly he's angry when he's right, because he can't even do it right. Too much estrogen seeping into the show. It's a show about a battle. Come on, man. I'm out of here. So there you go.
Wow.
I hate you guys! If you could see the look on my face, you would know that I hate you.
Blah, blah, blah. Everything is wrong. Hi,
this is Bo Brinkman.
Shut up, please. Stop ruining history.
It's time for Addressing Gettysburg's Hate Mail, where we share what some of the most feeble-minded people on the planet dare to say online.
I hate you guys. Goodbye.
You know what?
Wow.
You know, I always was, I don't want to say I doubted, but I always kind of was a little, would incredulous be the word? What?
Dave, very well. Wait till he finds out that women have been in combat for a while now.
Exactly. No, so, you hear people say, I remember one time, who was it? Was it Pete Carmichael telling me that somebody he knows worked for the Park Service, as an interpretive ranger, and would be there at the information desk. It was another battlefield. It wasn't here. And people would come up to her and say, I got a question about, a certain regiment or whatever. Is there a man around who can answer my question, right? And then you hear other people complaining about, it's because I'm a woman and it's a boys' club. And I'm like, I don't see that. I don't witness this. I don't know what you're talking about. And now I know what you're talking about. Too much estrogen in Addressing Gettysburg, because we have you broads on the show, and we're doing That's What She Said, which is going to be a runaway hit, ladies and gentlemen. So get used to it. Yeah. What was that guy's name? I closed it. Oh, it's hard to tell from his email address. But, get used to it because the girls they're gonna do a great job with this show that's coming out on September 13th. By the way,
a little bit too much into it. Maybe he was commenting on the fact that like you're not very masculine or not masculine enough for him. I don't
Veronica.
know. Maybe you're too sensitive about like actual issues and things like that.
because I have a heart, baby. Well, maybe that's it.
Was, what the war was fought over.
I have been
like
taking
that.
estrogen.
Maybe that's what he really meant.
Because my voice was getting too deep. And so I said I need to raise that voice a bit. I don't know. Whatever. But you know what the favorite part of the show is?
You doing news or events first?
She's the gal who knows what's going on. So take notes. There's a test at the end. Here's AG Today's lead anchor, Veronica Brestensky, with news, traffic, weather, sidewalk conditions, and what's happening this weekend.
I must have all possible information.
All right, Ronnie Ronstadt here with the news. Everybody knows that this is the greatest time of the day on Thursdays, Ronnie's News.
That's right. And the only news that matters this month is that That's What She Said premieres on September 13th.
That's right.
There's your news, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. We'll see you guys. Have a good weekend.
That's the news, man.
I mean, it
you
is
want
the news.
That's the news.
Now, here's how this goes.
Yeah.
It's being released on the 13th, okay? You're going to get, if you're on the free feed only, you're going to get a free preview of the first 15 minutes. If you're a patron, everybody at every level, even the levels that don't get shows, the $1, the $3 level, they don't get shows, they're going to get this show. Every once in a while, I throw them a bone, okay? And so they're going to get this first episode. When the second episode comes out in October, it's only the second lieutenants and above.
Wow, you're pulling like a 1883 kind of move here. Because that's what Paramount did. When 1883 came out, they like released 1 or 2 episodes, and then all of a sudden you had to go watch the rest of the series on Paramount Plus. Like you couldn't
Exactly. Listen, this is a business, okay? This takes a lot of my time. I got to put a roof over my head, I got a dog to feed. So, yeah. So this is how it works, right? It's a lesson that we've all taken from drug dealers. You give a little bit for free until they get hooked, and then you make
I'm
them
excited
pay.
about it. And I hope I'm not speaking for Bethany, but I think she's in the same boat.
She is.
We're excited.
And I might have an intern for you guys.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What are we, like, not doing enough well enough on our own, or what do we need?
No, it's just that I have to do less, so that we have somebody to support you and help out with scheduling and things like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So because in that way, it's because Dave's already scheduling all my history stuff, and then it's just another thing, and so I'm trying to make it easier for him.
Okay.
So we have Eric Houston, who's a listener. I don't know if he's in the room now or not, but his daughter's a freshman here at Gettysburg. You'll remember her from the seminary show, Elizabeth. She was in the game show, and she's a history major and didn't get one question right. Remember?
Oh my God! Did I know that she was coming? Did she know that she was coming to Gettysburg at that point? I knew she was a.
I think she had she knew. No, I think she was waiting to hear.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't know. It's a good
remember her saying
question.
she was okay, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right.
So she was interested in helping out, and he told me, and I said, "We'll give her my number, and I'll
Nice.
So she's going to come on Sunday because we're recording on Sunday.
We are.
Yes. And so she'll be here.
My favorite girl, Sally Myers.
Sally Myers. Who's the guest?
Roseanne.
Oh, Roseanne again. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Roseanne is the first episode. Elizabeth Thorne.
Very cool.
We have an Ask a Guide coming out with Roseanne and Brad Gottfried this month. That's in a couple of weeks. So it's like, this has been the year of Roseanne Zyko on Addressing Gettysburg.
She's the best.
She is
really
great.
think the world of her.
I love her.
Yeah.
She's been on, 2 or 3 Ask, That's What She Said.
This will be her second.
This will be her second.
Yep.
So then I've had her on, I think, 2 Ask a Town Guides, or 1 Ask a Town Guide, and then maybe an Ask a Guide. And then she was on the 3 anniversary shows. Yeah. She was the only one who was on all 3 of them. And what else? Well, now, That's What She Said. So she's been... So if you don't know Roseanne's name by now, you ain't listening.
That's right.
Okay. What else you got, Ronnie?
So just another little teaser. So we also have, you mentioned the recording on Sunday with Roseanne. On Monday, we're recording with Tim Smith about Jenny Wade.
That's what she said?
Yeah.
Oh.
The next Sunday, we're recording with Ken Rich about how the women helped and supported the Army, what roles they played, etc.
By the way, let me just interrupt you here. Tim Smith has not been on an Addressing Gettysburg regular show all year.
He's busy.
He's busy.
He's busy. He is busy. And
Well,
he likes he
not busy.
likes Bethany and I. That's really
yes,
what it is.
exactly. Exactly.
No, but and then October 1st, we record with Sue Boardman. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. It's called Wonderful Widows, and it's going to be about
Wonderful Widows.
Wonderful Widows about Lydia Leicester.
Lydia
and
Leicester
Bailey
with a
Thompson.
wonderful widow.
So that's really. I'm looking forward to that one because I don't know much about those ladies.
I got a
And we
real
always
red
talk about-
wagon.
Anyway, so in actual news, I was kind of goofing around a little bit with the announcement, but definitely we're excited about that, and that is news in and of itself. But we're back to normal here in Gettysburg. There was a 2-vehicle crash on Sunday, and the crash resulted in a truck going into another stationary object, which is a house.
Of course.
On Hanover Street. So did quite a bit of damage again. So
Yeah, look at the hair.
we have another vehicle into a house, and all is right with the world in Gettysburg. So in case you were
Come over to my camera. Wait there.
in case you were confused about where you were, we still have.
Yeah, I was wondering when they were going to start crashing into buildings again.
Yeah, there you go.
It's been a while.
Seems like it has, but
It has,
there for a
right?
while we were on a upswing.
Oh,
that's for
yeah.
sure. It seemed like 3
It
or
was
4
like
within,
every
like,
other
a
week
month.
there was a new crash into a building.
Really crazy, but that's news. Actually, this is I don't know. I don't even know if this is really news, but we were talking about like reminiscing and stuff. Did you watch that '70s show when you were a kid?
Not really, but I saw the
Did you see that?
news.
Did you see the news? Just
yes.
today, just broke today that he was sentenced. So
Right when we were
Wait,
about to start.
Who was sentenced?
Danny Masterson.
Okay.
Sorry, let's let the news girl do it. Go ahead.
No, Danny Masterson. And I don't even remember the name of the character he played, but he was. I know Kelso was Ashton Kutcher,
Yeah.
but I don't remember Danny Masterson had like the curly hair. He
Yeah,
was kind of
the
like the. Like
stoner.
druggy,
Yeah.
like whatever.
Crap. What was his name?
Hyde.
Hyde.
Hyde, wow.
See, I don't know. I never watched it enough.
I watched it a little, but I mean, I wasn't
Was
like
it
a
funny?
big fan. Some
It
of
has its
was.
moments.
Okay.
It has its
Yeah.
moments. It's definitely no. It's
no Golden Girls, of course.
I was gonna say Frasier, but you know.
Well, it's definitely not Frasier.
So anyway, Danny Masterson was convicted earlier this year of raping 2 women, and he was sentenced today to 30 years to life.
I know.
So
That's.
I was like, wow. I think they said he's 47. So
Oh, is he really?
yeah,
So he's up there. So he's going to die in prison.
sounds like.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I don't
theoretically.
know what I forget even where was that California, and I don't know if they parole after a good time or whatever. I don't know.
After a good time?
After a good time.
After a
Like,
good time.
For a good
Yeah,
time. You know what I mean? Like
okay,
after a good
yeah.
time.
By the way, from now on, YouTube's funky about certain things. We say, we can't say the R word.
Oh.
Grape is okay.
Oh, wow.
But really make sure you say the gr.
Grr.
Yeah, grape
Gotcha.
is fine.
That's really wild.
It's stupid.
Well, anyway, so I'll never be able to talk about my clients'
No, I know.
cases
I know.
generally again. Cause
Yeah, if anybody ever asks you, we can never get into that stuff.
Anyway, all right, so that's the news. We have some events. We got
Oh
all
my
kinds of
God.
events.
Live this weekend where the action is.
What's there to do and see when you're in town this weekend? Here's Valerie, Veronica, to fill you in.
It's all covered.
I have told you there is no time for that.
That's so rude.
Me love you long, Tim.
How does Valerie put up with you?
You're done? Oh,
No, now I'm done. After this, I'm done. Okay, now I'm done.
Done?
Yeah.
Shoot, no, I didn't
Oh,
do
that was an accident. I'm sorry. Okay, now I'm done.
All right, so this weekend, on the 9th and the 10th, that's the 19th annual Wine and Music Festival out at Presidential Circle.
Very nice.
So,
That's
yeah,
the Wyndham.
It's the Wyndham. It's the Wyndham. So if if you're interested in
The
tickets,
cemetery.
The cemetery. Cool.
that's Pittsburgh talk. I'll tell you what that is. That's pretzel on my tongue talk. I think is
Pretzel on the tongue.
So it's not Pittsburgh on your tongue.
no.
Pretzel on the tongue, gibberish on the brain.
Pretty much. If you're interested in tickets for that, Gettysburg Wine and Music Festival, all spelled out. Don't use the and sign. Gettysburg Wine and Music Festival.com. Also this weekend on the 9th and 10th, The 62nd Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry Encampment will be held at the Gettysburg Children's Museum, otherwise known as the Children of Gettysburg 1863.
Right.
So if you're interested in seeing some living historians and bring your kids out from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday and from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Sunday, you can check those events out. Just a reminder that the farmers market is continuing. This week, they actually just put out a promotion on their social media. They're adding a new vendor. I should have written it down, but it's a hummus and falafel from a Syrian refugee who is from this area. She is. I'm assuming she's going to be a consistent vendor now, but this is her first week there. So welcome to her. And they're expanding. I mean, it seems like every week there's like some new or varied vendor. So that's exciting stuff. And
that's
then
great.
just a reminder for next week, since you're going to be in town for the Get Out of the Car tour anyway, on the 16th, on Saturday, from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., so either before or after the Get Out of the Car tour, swing on over to the farmers market because they're going to be having their street food festival in partnership with Casa della Cultura. They're celebrating all things Central and Southern American.
Casa della what?
Cultura. Cultura.
Cultura.
Cultura.
Oh, Cultura?
Cultura.
Cultura. Cultura.
My song, my lyrics, buddy, okay?
Oh, that was said like a diva at her finest moment, too. Just Celine Dion in there.
Cultura? Cultura?
I was going to say Cultura.
Cultura.
Yeah, Cultura.
What was I saying? Culture.
Cultura.
Cultura?
You were saying it like an American.
I was saying it like not Kathy. Is
Right.
What I was, the way I was
Right. Kathy would have been like,
So anyway, I'm excited about that because street food, you don't need to twist my arm, obviously. But I'm excited about that.
We all love free food.
No, street food.
Oh, street food. And we love street food for free.
It's definitely not free.
No.
Anyway, also coming up this week, now after the weekend, I mentioned that there would be some anniversary-related things about Antietam. One of the events is Scott Hartwig. Obviously, we all know that his actual Antietam book was released recently.
Right.
And there is a book release party on Wednesday. It's from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Now, this is in Frederick, Maryland, but it's hosted by Preservation Maryland. Cocktails and barbecue at McClintock Distillery in Frederick, Maryland. It's $20 to attend. I think the tickets for the food and stuff might have been sold out already, or you had to have already RSVP'd for that. But if you want to attend, obviously you can talk to Scott, listen to his presentation, get him to sign your book. It'll be a nice event, and it actually benefits preservation. So if you're interested in that, you just have to Google it. The Eventbrite link was too long for me to tell you. So if you literally go on Google and say Scott Hartwig book release, Eventbrite, it'll pop right up, and you can get your tickets for that if you're interested. Now, that is a Wednesday night, so it's something to do during the week if you're looking for that kind of thing. The following weekend, obviously, is the Get Out of the Car tour. I think it's Robinson's
Division.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I thought. Okay,
and Lewis asked me to make sure everybody understands. Not only park where legal, but do not park in the bus spaces by the Peace Light, because we're going to meet at the Peace Light. And there are those bus spaces there. Last year, people parked in the bus spaces. Yeah. Okay. Don't park in the bus spaces. We don't want you to get a ticket. So park elsewhere. You might have to walk a bit. There's only so many spaces in the lot. So just keep that in mind. But it is a walking tour, so I'm sure you don't mind having to walk a little bit.
Right. And so also that weekend, on Friday, so obviously the Get Out of the Car tour is on Saturday as always at 10 a.m. But on Friday night, our very own Matt Callery is going to be, now what's your title there? Is it moderator? Is that what I saw?
Moderator. Yeah, I think they're calling it moderator.
Moderator?
I think they're calling it, I host moderator. I don't know. Yeah.
So you're going to be partnering with the Seminary Ridge Museum for their Legacy Weekend.
Yes.
And that's actually called Determined Courage. It's focused solely on the 151st Pennsylvania Reserves on Seminary Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weekend-long event. Friday evening is a reception. There's some speakers. You're hosting that. I have to be honest to our listeners. I have not been able to find a way that you can purchase just a ticket or a partial ticket for just Friday's event. It looks
So
like
you have to do the whole weekend.
I think so, which obviously is a full day long of lectures and tours and things on Saturday.
Right. Of course,
that would
after you
conflict.
do our tour.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I
if
already
you're-
talked to them about that. I said, I am going to be telling people, do our tour for free.
So I'm wondering, it's only a week, but I'm wondering if maybe we can reach out to Pete and Cody and see if there's some way we can get, I mean, I'm sure people will be in town that weekend, maybe Friday night, looking for something to do. And what better way to, support Matt than come out and listen to the genius.
And the museum.
Moderate the
genius. I'm sure that they, I shouldn't say this with certainty, but I can't see them saying if you showed up and there was room, I can't see them saying, no, you didn't.
See, I don't know.
But I don't know.
You're right.
I don't
want
know.
to say they did because it's being advertised as a reception. So reception in my world means like maybe hors d'oeuvres, maybe.
Hopefully.
So right. So maybe I'm assuming that costs money, and you had to already like told them, or they have to have some heads up about that, and they're not going to do that for free for people that are just
okay.
showing
That's
up.
a good point.
So I don't know. That's one. Maybe you can.
I'll
you can
find
look
out.
into
I'll
it,
find
and then we
out,
can put something on social media for you guys if there's any way to attend that.
Yeah. All right.
But also next weekend, this is super cool, and they have it every year. It's a big deal within the Park Service, especially at the Eisenhower National Historic Site. But next weekend is also World War II weekend. So again, because of the get out of the car, that's the tour for a couple hours, maybe lunch with your friends. There's plenty of time to check out what the Eisenhower National Historic Site has to offer. I just wrote, literally, it's a whole page of notes just about what's going on at the World War II weekend. But specifically, you can check out the exclusive and all-inclusive list of events at www.nps for National Park Service, so nps.gov /EISE, the first four letters in Eisenhower. Right? So nps.gov /EISE for the entire event. There are events going from Friday night. The keynote speaker is going to be at 7 o'clock at the Visitor Center. Dr. Craig Simons is going to present on Nimitz and Eisenhower in 1943. I should note that the whole theme of this weekend is 1943, America at War. So it's celebrating or commemorating the events that happened 80 years ago this year related to World War II. So there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a living history encampment. There's going to be ranger walks and programming. There's World War II tours of the Gettysburg National Internment Site. I'm kidding. They make fun of me saying cemetery, so I will say internment site from now on. Anyway, so he wasn't listening. So World War II tours of Gettysburg National Cemetery.
And just
I
so everybody knows, 1943. That means like Italy, the Mediterranean campaign. That's making a toll in the Pacific. This is after Guadalcanal, but before Iwo Jima, obviously, and before Okinawa. This is before D-Day. But so that's a good time to get out because that's one area of World War II that gets very little publicity, and it's super fascinating.
Yeah.
The Italian campaign is insane, so I highly recommend people get out there and into it as well.
Yeah.
I appreciate that because I really don't know. I'm embarrassed to say, my grandfather was a World War II vet. He passed, and when I was like 12 years old, so I really had no opportunity to talk to him about it, and Grandma didn't really talk too much about stuff, and obviously she wasn't in combat or anything, but I appreciate you shedding some light on it, Colby, because I certainly don't know much about the details of World War II, but putting a little bit into perspective, I appreciate that very much. I should note very quickly, the Craig Simons, Nimitz, and Eisenhower, it is a free event, but you do need tickets. You need to RSVP through the National Park Service to get the tickets. Actually, I apologize. It's through the foundation. There's a link on the foundation. You get the free tickets. You just RSVP for them, but you have to have a ticket to enter that keynote speech on Saturday at 7 p.m. And then all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 p.m. If you meet the ranger at the Tawnytown entrance to the National Cemetery, they will be doing a ranger walk within the cemetery, highlighting the World War II veterans and telling their stories of the guys that are, of the guys that are in the cemetery there. There's a little bit of a precursor. It's related to Eisenhower weekend, but it's the Monday before. So on September 11th, it's not officially part of World War II weekend, but Eisenhower National Historic Site Park Ranger John Tuscan will present Gettysburg during World War II. It's another free event at the Adams County Historical Society. So that's at 7 p.m. on Monday, September 11th. You can go on over and enjoy that presentation. John Tuscan is actually one of the people that puts on, that helps nightly with the 100 Nights of Taps program. But he is a park ranger over at the Eisenhower National Historic Site, and that should be something that you might want to check out because again, it's free. I'm not sure if that'll be televised in case you're not in town. The Historical Society does often do live feeds with that, so check that out as well. One of the highlights though, that I will point out on Sunday, kind of like wrapping up the events at the Eisenhower portion of the events. In the speaker's tent, there's going to be a noon meet and greet of World War II veterans.
That's cool. Listen, that's important because there's so few left.
Right,
too.
exactly. So that's highlighted in my calendar. I'm like super excited about an opportunity to do that.
What is the date again?
So that's Sunday the 17th at noon in the speaker's tent at the Eisenhower site.
Okay.
World War II veteran meet and greet. So, certainly go over and say hi to those guys.
Mm-hmm. Are you getting choked up?
I am.
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. Let me get the music.
No.
Come on. Let me get the music. Go ahead.
Colby's right. There are so many.
It's the greatest struggle the world has ever known, and there are so few left.
Right. Exactly.
No, I know. And I was just talking about, who was I talking about this with just a couple minutes ago? Not a couple minutes ago. Oh, I was Eric Dorr and I were talking. Because now I'm going to get...
Yeah, I know, see?
Eric Dorr and I were talking about, because he does stuff with veterans over D-Day, and he's asked me if I wanted to have this guy on the show who takes veterans over there. And I said to him, how many veterans do we have left from World War II? I mean, that, it can't be a lot of them. And it's not. But, I mean, there's still enough. But still, I mean, they're...
Wasn't it? I mean, no, this is a little while back, maybe in the early 2000s or something, but wasn't it like an average of 1,000 of them a day were dying or something? I mean, like it was...
Let me see. I wonder if I Google it, what the answer would be.
Really wild. But, well, think about, I mean...
Think
these
about
guys
how
are,
much of
these
what
guys
they
are
did has
18.
become a part of our national identity.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
people that
Right.
see the Iwo Jima picture, the flag raising, the second flag raising on Iwo Jima,
Right.
might not even know that that's Marines, but they know everything that image stands for.
Mm-hmm.
The pursuit of freedom and like I was just saying, it's the greatest struggle in the history of the world. There has never ever from the beginning of time to where we are now, there has never been a conflict between human beings like that in World War II.
Yeah.
And the people that participated in it are a special class of people.
Right.
Damn right
and
they are.
We're about to lose the last ones.
So to answer the question, 167,000 approximately as of 2022. So I'm sure there's some less, some fewer than that. So it's not a lot.
No, of course.
I remember, I don't remember when it was, but I do remember when they announced that the last World War I veteran died. I was young.
Yeah.
But I remember that.
I vaguely remember that as well. I mean, I had to have been super tiny.
You were. I think it was in the late 90s or early 2000s. Well, you know what? Let me ask Google.
I wouldn't have been super tiny. But.
When did the last World War I veteran
I mean, while you're doing
die?
that, my grandmother died at 100 in 2018. Right?
Wow.
So, I mean, none of these people are spring chickens anymore.
No.
My grandpa would have been older had he survived. And, a lot of these guys, even if they were younger than my grandpa when they were in service, they're 90s. Late 80s, a lot of them are.
Well, my grandfather died in 2003. He was 87, and he was a World War II vet. He was kind of old for. I think he went in when he was 27.
Say again. He passed in
2003 at 87. He was born in 1916, I think is correct. Here, listen to this. Frank Buckles, the last surviving American to serve in World War I, died Sunday, February 27th, 2011.
That's crazy.
At the age of 110 in his home.
I had finished my time in the Marine Corps
right.
at that point.
But guess what? It was in his home in West Virginia. No. Yes, it was. He died in West Virginia. That was so. You know what?
No.
Yeah. No. Listen, Kat. They're hardy stock down there. They survived to 110 after surviving World War I. So that's the last American veteran. I don't know what the rest of the world. We don't care. Do we care? I don't know. We don't.
Not as much.
Not as much, right? Do you have another one?
Nope.
Okay. So real quick, let's think of this if we can now. As things worked out, I have one ticket available because Veronica and Kathy are no longer coming to the Gettysburg Christmas premiere shebang.
You got to take me, bro.
Well, okay, so now this is the question I have, and I was saying this last night. We had dinner with Chris last night. Cindy and I had dinner with Chris, and Chris is Bo's girlfriend, and she's kind of, orchestrating all this stuff. And I told her, I said, Veronica and Kathy can't come now. I'm going to give Cindy one of the tickets, and I was thinking maybe we can do a giveaway with the other one, or do you want to reabsorb it? And she's like, no, that's fine. It's your ticket. And I go, okay. And then I said to Cindy, on the way home, I go, do we do a giveaway or do I give it to someone that is part of the group? And now I'm torn.
Well, I also talked to you about it the other day, too. I say you give it to your engineer, my man. Look at you thinking about it.
Well, because I think you're right, but I also think
Pentecostal guilt right there, buddy.
I also think I'm really torn about it because I'm also thinking that a listener would really like to go. I mean, you get to rub elbows with.
Keep that.
Can you
keep that.
mute for 30 seconds?
All right, hold on. I'm taking us off
I
the
just want
air.
to make sure I'm not saying something else.
Okay, wait. Just going to play some music while this conversation is going on. Oh, now you're making. All right, we're back on now. Now you're making me feel bad.
That's how it works.
That's all of the guilts that we talked about last week: the Catholic, the Jewish, and the Pentecostal, all in one right there. Thank you.
Okay, fine. I guess I'm not.
Okay. Well. Okay. Now I got to think about this.
David votes.
I mean, I definitely say Colby. I wasn't sure about what I just said. If
I know Bo, and it would be cool to get to go support him.
Yeah, but you might be able to get.
You said I might be able to sit in the theater. I want to go to the whole thing.
No, I understand, and I got to talk to. Okay, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out because I'm really torn now.
If you don't give it to a listener, you keep that veil of mysticism. It still seems like it's Hollywood celebrities. If you give it away, they're gonna think, "No, I shouldn't be participating and paying for Patreon. These are just normal people." You might be shooting yourself. If you
you're just trying to get me to give it to you.
If you don't let them go, it keeps that veil of there's a mysticism to it where it's almost like that Hollywood.
In other words,
veil.
We're elite,
right? And
we're not letting you in.
If you let them come, then they're gonna realize you're just a dude, and they're not gonna want to be a patron anymore. They're gonna be like,
I'm just a dude who's hanging out with Bruce Boxleitner.
I'm just a dude disguised as a dude.
Oh, Lord.
So wait, okay, all right. Well, all right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to think about it because you raised valid points. Veronica said something while we were muted.
Look how many votes I'm getting in the comments.
Are you getting a lot of votes?
Well, 3 of them are from David.
Okay, David. Well, he votes early and often. Let's see, 110. Okay, wait, yeah, okay. Give it away to Colby. Colby has to listen to an awful lot.
That's true.
10 out of 10 Colby. I'm Team Colby. Mike Work. Okay, so we got a bunch of Colby people here. All right, I'm not against bringing Colby, but now I was thinking, okay, all right, we're gonna figure something out because I think it would be cool to also do a giveaway. But I got to see if there might be some other tickets available or something like that. Because what Veronica told me is something to consider. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you should be a patron over at patreon.com/addressinggettysburg. Because I have to think of all this shit. I'm the one that's got to consider this. And then I'm the bad guy if I don't make a decision that makes everybody happy. So that's the situation comedy there. All right. Are we done? We're hungry, aren't we?
Starving.
Let's eat. I'm hungry, and time's a wasting. It's almost 8 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for calling in, Dave and Mike, and we will talk to you gals next time.
Addressing Gettysburg Today is produced by Matt Callery and Veronica Brestensky, Esquire, and broadcasts from the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios. Engineered by Colby Sumner, and sometimes someone else. Guest accommodations are provided by the guests themselves. Who are we? Vanderbilts? But if you want us to take better care of them, become a patron at patreon.com/Addressing Gettysburg. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg. Thanks for listening.
There's all kinds of wise tales out there. Bonfire.
Quiet.
We love you, Long Tim.
Attention blue-collar workers!
You can stay over here, but I'm going over here.
You scorpion woman! Veronica had a very funny joke today!
Yoo-hoo! Why would you want to be a cheerleader, Steve Martin?
Try and don't get it done.
Blah, 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 blah.
Let your friend choke to death out in that river.
Grabbed and pulled and hurt my neck?
I love this podcast.
Nice. This concludes our broadcast day.